circling the sky above, the windless night of black, a vessel now devoid of love between the twisted cracks. 3 piggies that became of 4 wander in the dark, looking for a story more cut of witch's mark. The boogeyman who called this home now owns the world as whole, and while no one sits upon his throne, behind he's left his soul. Pieces of fragmented past and larger parts still left. Like broken plaster of a cast, the dry ink feeds to Seft. There's one magician in this world, and one who's joined it now, prophet of the underworld, although she knows not how. A choice was made no time ago, a choice that seemed unfair. And where the winter river flow to end, she chose not there. And so of how to end their pain, of what they knew could not remain, a choice they made to be made again, a handshake deal meant to refrain. But true freedom lies not in a guess, or a soundless, fragile voice. Despite it seeming not the case, there always is a choice. You stand under the starlit sky, devoid of any moon, in a large clearing that houses 3 small dwellings, one for each of the 3 butchers that you've recently come in contact with. Before you stands the middle brother. He smiles at you, a sinister, almost mischievous smile, as he tells you about reason and spirit, the 2 remaining pieces of this creature's 3-part personality or soul. And he stands looking at you, asking for you to retrieve a jar of lost souls from BB's dwelling. And in exchange, he'll tell you information that you need to acquire these last 2 pieces. He looks at you, Marie, with a devilish grin.
Okay, say we get these souls for you.
Yes.
I guess I want to know whose souls they are.
Whose souls? He sort of laughs, and again, in the very dim light, you can only really make out the dark of his face and his white eyes, his elongated teeth. And he's about the same size as his older, more gruff brother, who's now gone back to his own dwelling. The younger brother was a bit shorter. And this man sort of sneers, looking between you. They're lost souls. We don't know.
How did they become lost?
Well, there are many ways to become a lost soul, little girl. Maybe making poor choices when you were alive. Maybe selling your soul for some nefarious means. We don't question why.
Well, no matter how lost I become, I know a jar could not hold my soul. It's too free.
And he laughs, sort of a deep bellowing laugh that echoes throughout the still night. Believe that if you wish.
So these souls, you intend to free them?
In a way.
What way is that?
In a way that doesn't concern you. If you wish to survive and find out exactly where reason and spirit exist and how to acquire them. And it seems like you want to. Well, maybe not your friend back there. And he sort of leans over the three of you to Maddie. And Maddie, correct me if I'm wrong, but you sort of stayed back the entire time, yeah?
I believe that I did, because this whole thing is very puzzling to me.
And he says, maybe not for all of you, but for those of you who are looking to acquire the other two pieces, I think the information I have could be very important to you.
Okay. So, say we do go to BB's house to get this jar. How are we going to get it from BB?
BB doesn't live there anymore. His house is vacant and abandoned. In fact, it should be pretty easy to get.
Then why don't you get it?
As I said previously, not 5 minutes ago, it is not a dwelling that allows people like my...
stature.
Yes, let's call it.
If he's not home, where is he?
Oh, he's left this world long ago. I believe, perhaps to head to where you might be from. And he sort of reaches a hand out, a long, spindly hand. His fingers are twice the length of a normal man's. And he goes to touch you, Georgie. And
I take a step back, and I am.
And as he does, he sort of closes his hand. Again, the fingers sort of over his palm and brings it back and says, you did not come to this world in the same way as so many others. You seem different.
Is there more to that?
In what way?
What do you mean different? Whoa.
Us of the GRIMM lands, we have a certain quality about us. Those like yourself, or similar to yourselves, that come from, I suppose, the other side of this existence. They arrive to us in a different form than yourself. Spirits and the like. Little growing lights. But you four seem like you've skipped the line somehow. And again, he sort of just touches his face, and again you can see now with the white of his hand sort of flashing against his eyes, you see that his face is more covered in soot than a dark face in itself, and his clean-shaven skin is sort of gray beneath the muck that covers his cheeks.
Are you a monster?
A monster? What do you mean?
Well, you said that you couldn't go in BB's house and that we came here in a way that's different from everybody. I guess I want to know what you are.
I'm a butcher.
What does that mean?
It means I cut meat and I sell it. And sometimes I eat it.
Can you give us a minute?
Of course. And he turns around and he begins walking sort of towards the dwellings, and he stops about halfway and goes to the wood pile to the far left of the three, and he starts cutting up some wood.
I ushered the other three close into a huddle. Okay, so are we going to do this? Everybody on board?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know what else we can do. I don't want to try to find the reason and spirit unless we have advantages.
Tan, what about you?
I don't trust this guy. I mean, a butcher and a jar of souls? What could a butcher want with a jar of souls?
I don't know. He creeps me out, though.
Yeah, he's really spooky.
I don't know if we can trust him, but...
Do you think maybe there's a way that we could release the souls? He only asked for the jar.
That's true. Well, we get into the jar and investigate a little bit further. Either way, whether or not we bring this jar back to this guy or not, I think that we should go to BB's house, because if he's not here, that means he's in our realm. And if we have a chance to look around his house, we might be able to find some way to stop him.
That's smart. And maybe if we can figure out how he got back to our realm, then we can do the same thing. Maybe there's a clue.
Maybe.
Okay.
Everyone
I
in?
just don't want to give him souls. I don't trust him with the souls.
Me neither, Maddie.
What else can we do?
I don't know. Maybe there's like a compact that BB owns that you'd like.
Maybe we could steal we could steal the cleaver, and then you need to trade for that.
Oh. I think the first step is getting the jar.
Yeah, one step at a time.
And as you're talking, Spitz sort of flutters up and lands on your shoulder, Georgie. And she sort of leans in and sort of turns her head side to side, mimicking the huddle that the four of you are participating in. Sort of not understanding it quite.
Spitz, what can you tell us about BB's house? Are there booby traps?
Oh.
Look out for.
And she sort of shakes her head and takes a half step back on your shoulder and says, No. Don't go there. It's a dangerous place.
Spitz, we know, but we have to. We have to go there to find out more information about the boogeyman.
Unless you know, Spitz, are you holding back? Do you know where we get the other?
And she
Things
sort of
we
turns
seek?
her head and says, No, I don't.
That's why we have to do it, Spitz.
Oh, okay. And she sort of flutters down and lands again on the floor between the four of you. And sort of cranks her head back up, waiting for your huddle to break.
Okay, but you'll guide us to BB's place and the safest way in that you know?
And again, she flies up this time and lands on Marie's cast and says, To get to BB's, you have to either take the bridge or head back through the mound.
What do you think is the safest way?
Oh, well, if you want to take the bridge, you need to appease Mercury. But if you want to take the mound, you have to sneak by the witch. I don't think either are particularly safe.
What's Mercury?
Mercury is a very vain creature. She enjoys her own appearance more than anything else. Sometimes a compliment will do, but most of the time she needs more.
What do you think, Tam?
That doesn't seem so bad. I mean, we can pay someone a compliment. I know a few. Like, Maddie, I like your hair.
Thanks.
And we know
Is
he's a
she
good
hot?
liar now, too.
That'll never fly.
Or she's a good liar.
Yeah, okay, let's go to Mercury.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Well,
What if it's a good witch?
is it a good witch?
Then she'll still be a good witch whether or not we meet her.
And as she says the mound, you look at the map. And again, you guys have the map that he's handed you. And just to reiterate, there is a few spots on there that you might want to check out.
The mound, it's looking like that's where I came from.
Correct. Yeah, so you came from the mound, which is a place that... Do you feel like going back to?
Definitely not.
So yeah, it's
Perhaps
sort of...
we should go to the garden and pick some flowers, because I know people who like compliments sometimes like flowers.
Well, that's actually what I was wondering, because if you look at the map, do we really have to do either? Can't we go the long way around and work our way back?
We don't know what's out that way.
Long way around which way?
Even
Sorry.
worse.
Well, like if you go take the road down past the workshop and the mill to the garden and then cut across.
What do you think, Spitz?
And she shakes her head and she says, a lot of these bridges have been destroyed, which is why Mercury usually needs some sort of toll to be able to cross. And she sort of jumps down on the map and pecks with her little beak, pecks to that lower bridge to sort of cut a hole in the paper map.
I think Mercury is our best bet.
Yeah.
We're doing this?
Yeah.
Okay. You think of some good compliments, okay, Tam?
I will, and I think I got something for the toll.
Okay. So the butcher is cutting wood just out of earshot. He doesn't need to... You don't need to say goodbye to him. Just...
We're gonna go get those souls!
And he sort of turns, and again in the moonlight, with the
I don't
brim
think
of
he
his...
understands what a butcher does.
He's not doing his job. This is his
Okay.
this is his passion.
I don't want any of his hamburgers. Very
Woodburgers.
Taco Belly.
Vegan burgers.
He looks over and he smiles, and beneath the shadow and the brim of his cap, you sort of just see his elongated teeth and his bare, clean-shaven jaw, and he smiles and turns back to cutting wood. As the four of you go to leave.
Hey, Tam. Tam?
Yeah. What?
You mentioned maybe giving her something? Mercury?
Yeah, and I reach into my pocket and I pull out a coin that was given to me in the graveyard. And I say, well, if it's a toll that Mercury needs, I have this coin that was given to me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know what it's good for, but I figure it's currency.
Definitely. And I think you're definitely onto something with making sure we have things to barter with. What about this spot down on the map here? Roses?
Oh, that looks nice.
Maybe she likes roses. I don't know. Most girls do, right?
Yeah, but once I went to school early and I picked all the flowers in the front garden, and the stupid principal, he was mad and he said, Tam, I'm mad. And then I was confused. I was like, aren't flowers for everyone? But apparently you're not allowed to pick certain flowers. So maybe we should just make sure that's not somebody's garden.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We don't want to wrong anybody else.
I hate that principal.
Yeah.
Ouch.
We know. Tam.
It was Principal Andrews, by the way.
Yeah, we don't like Principal Andrews either.
He wasn't a bad guy. Remember? He had the Jane's bracelet. Wow, that feels like a long time ago. That's weird. It's weird to actually have a memory in a game that's actually like feels like a memory in
real life.
That's weird. All right. So, are you heading out?
Yeah, let's go.
Get some roses.
Hold on. I'm actually liking Tam's idea of getting the roses. Because roses are often considered the prettiest flowers, so shouldn't we get the prettiest flowers for the prettiest girl?
That sounds right.
Does it?
I don't know. It sounds right.
No,
Unless
not the way Harlan said
Correct
that.
answer
Might
to this
feel
puzzle
threatened.
is Mercury.
Well, okay, but Spitz said that she was very vain.
Yeah.
Right? So we say the prettiest flower for the prettiest girl.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying I don't.
Would she get her something ugly so she looks better by comparison?
Now,
She's one of
doesn't
those
that
people?
speak more to vain?
'Cause that's
than
why we have Maddie.
something
That's
competitive.
what I was going to say. I'm just going to stand beside her and be like, look
Listen.
how much better looking you look now.
Listen, I'm not in any like I have no dog in this fight because I want to see where it goes. But as an outsider perspective, to me, logically, if someone were really vain, they wouldn't want a competitive beauty. They would want something to make them feel better about themselves. What if the flower's more beautiful than themselves? It could be an insult.
No, I don't think people really compare themselves to how pretty
Flowers.
flowers are.
As someone
I
who's
do.
vain, I've never felt threatened by a flower.
Perfect. No, I'm excited. I want to see what happens.
And then we could be like, oh, we thought these were beautiful, but now compared to actually seeing you,
Now that's
And we
a
spit
good,
on them and throw
There you
anything
go.
up on them. Oh, they're so ugly.
that's a good one.
Good idea.
We
I
get
feel
the
we did not
flowers.
do good enough in our gifts.
Why don't we
That's it.
just go see what it is and then we'll decide?
We should
Because
talk
what
more
if it
about it
just
first.
says roses, but there's no actual flowers there?
Well, I'm assuming you're walking as you're talking. So
Yeah.
there are a few ways out. You can go back in through the graveyard, through the secret path, but there's also a road to the, I guess, east and west of this clearing.
What if we walk east from the butchers and then hang south to the crossroads, past the grove to the roses. Can we do that? And then I guess, oh, there's a
That's perfect,
river.
There's a river, yeah. But there looks like there's a bridge over it. Hopefully it's still intact.
We'll have to kind of like backtrack to get over the bridge. Shit. The roses is not really on the way to BB's house.
Isn't it?
Not overly on the way, but we can backtrack.
We can go through the pumpkin patch, which is probably going to be our doom, and then
Yeah, I don't know about that. The other one, the spirit, and the other vice,
it's in the pumpkin patch.
pumpkin patch, and the garden, right?
Correct. That's what he told you.
Okay.
That's what he told us.
Hey.
Could've been lying. I say, yeah, let's go east. Let's check out the roses from a distance at least.
Yeah, and then maybe go back if we have to.
Exactly.
Perfect. Okay. So the four of you head out past the houses of the butchers, out of the clearing, and you walk through a small pathway leading to a dirt road. The pathway has sinister-looking trees sort of reaching out over you, covering the sky, and through it you can see the thin slats of stars. Again, so many stars, too many to even count. And as you reach the main dirt road, you see a clear chute south, just past what you can tell is the crossroads, and you begin walking. The four of you, nervously in this grim land. Something about the trees, again, stark gray in the colorless night, makes you feel like you're being watched. There's no wind, and very few sounds that you can hear at all. Eventually, you pass by a large opening to a river, and maybe 100 feet to your right, as you're heading south, aka the west, you see a willow tree. A large willow tree with what looks like thin green leaves that are sort of almost flickering in the light.
Should we check this out? Maybe they'll have more information. Or
I love willow trees.
they might talk like the grove.
I don't like the grove.
Okay.
So it's just a single willow tree, and actually you are sort of on a natural bridge of sorts. It looks like there was water that flowed underneath this at one point, but now, again, it's pretty dim, but you can't quite see or hear running water beneath you.
So is this like the willow? We're how close to the willow?
You're sort of standing on a dirt bridge looking at it to your west. Maybe 100 feet. You'd have to crawl down, sort of go along the riverbed, even though it doesn't look like there's water in it. And you can see by the map, it sort of looks like it splits on either side of it.
I'm always up for an adventure, but do you think we should get distracted?
Well,
maybe we'll find something to give. I mean, I have the coin, but we probably need something for each of you.
yeah, you might be right.
Okay,
I
well,
say
let's
we
be
look at
very careful.
I love swinging from willow branches. They're like vines. It's pretty awesome. And I run down and go swing.
Okay, so you run down, and as you sort of come down the dirt bridge and your feet touch the dry side of the forest, you actually see that the riverbed isn't completely barren. There's no water in it, but it does look like there's a dark liquid that's sort of sitting along the bottom and spreading out on either side of the
there's no water. It's just a dark liquid.
It does look like there's a dark liquid at the bottom, yeah.
How does the willow look now that I'm closer?
It looks, there's no wind, but all the leaves are sort of moving very slightly, and as you approach, there's sort of a large, maybe a 4-foot gap where the river splits that you need to jump over to see it. But as you sort of squint in the starlight, you see that it looks like there's a face on the willow tree, and it's sort of frowning.
Is it like Pocahontas?
We haven't seen. I was gonna say that, but I was like, we haven't seen Pocahontas.
Haven't seen
yet,
it.
so.
10 years early, like 15 years early, really. think it's. Yeah.
Wow, this is not good water for a willow to drink, and willows need a lot of water.
Are you all heading down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Following Tim.
Yeah, so you each kind of come down and you see that this willow tree is sort of just sitting there, and it's got this expression on its face of sort of sadness.
I look upstream and downstream. Does it look like the water changes?
No, it's still. It's not moving.
Is there
But
any
it's all the same
sticks?
color.
Correct. Sorry?
Any sticks around?
Yeah, of course. You're like you're bordered to the woods on either side of you.
Okay, well, while Tam's checking out the willow, I'm kind of squatting down by the black liquid and
Yeah.
kind of like sticking a stick in it and just seeing how viscous it is.
Okay, and yeah, you kind of dab it in, and as you bring it up, it's pretty fluid. It looks sort of tough to tell, but as you hold it up in the light, it sort of looks like it could be blood, maybe.
I hop over the blood river. It's a sentence I don't use very often.
Yet you're gonna hop back in about 2 minutes.
And I want to walk over to the willow to look at the face.
And yeah, so you walk over to the willow, and the face is large. It's much larger than the grove, a completely different idea. The grove was this visceral, almost human-like skull protruding from a broken, splintered stomach of a tree, whereas this willow looks almost as if it's hand-carved, a large face in the main body of the tree. It has sad eyes and an expressive mouth, and a nose, and it looks like it has all the human features.
Does the carving look fresh?
Are you jumping across as well?
I jump across the blood river.
Roll for scamper.
Okay.
I didn't have to.
No, you didn't have to.
Oh shoot, I don't even have my dice up. Hold on a second.
Whoa!
So the face is completely carved in. Is that what you said?
That's what it looks like, yeah.
I'll wait for Marie.
No, she doesn't have her dice up. Insta fail.
Okay, then
Could you imagine?
I help her
Dice
out of the
not
blood
ready.
water.
Insta fail.
Oops. All right, here we go. Here we go. I perform at a level 4.
Okay, yeah. So you make it across pretty easily. And yeah, so the two of you approach the tree. And what was your question, Tam?
I was just making sure that it was actually carved in the tree.
Yeah, I mean, put it this way: it's a face in a tree that that don't normally have faces, so you can't see the marks necessarily, but it does definitely look like a tree that has a face.
Or do faces not normally have trees?
Hey.
Marie wanted to know whether it looks like it's been carved recently or whether this looks old.
It looks very old.
Well, I want to approach the face, I guess, and I want to look at it closer.
You do, and you see it. It looks almost, like I said, like a caricature of a human. It's a bit. The eyes are a bit bigger. The nose is a bit bigger. Mouth is very expressive, and it just has a sad face, an unmoving expression just plastered into it.
And I feel like I touch the face, and I say, "Who would carve a sad face in this tree?" I know willows are just stereotypically sad. It's just I don't get it.
And you run your hand along the carving and the cheek, and nothing happens.
Everything's sad here.
I'm not. And I run in and grab one of the hanging branches, and I swing like Tarzan.
Okay, and as you grab the branch of the tree, it snaps and comes down.
I would have grabbed enough.
Yeah, doesn't matter how many. Then you grab more and more fall. You just tear up more of it.
Willows are not supposed to do this. I don't think it's healthy.
Well,
Looking at the water, it makes sense.
yeah, it doesn't look good. I wonder where it's coming from.
Do you have any water in your bag?
No, I don't.
And Maddie, where are you through all this?
Where am I?
Yeah.
The bank, I think.
Yeah, I'm just seeing what Georgie thinks of the water / blood river.
And Georgie,
stuff.
what do you think about the blood river?
I think it looks like blood, and I think you should stop poking it.
And Spitz flutters over and lands on your shoulder, Maddie, and sort of looks down and says, "Oh, what is that?"
I don't know, Spitz. It looks like blood, but where would all of this blood come from? Do you know the source of this river?
I don't know.
Is the whole river blood, Spitz?
Yeah, as far as you can see, and she gets up and starts fluttering around and flies up and down, and yeah, just a bit ways down and a bit up. It looks like it's all, but it's unmoving. It's not a flowing. It's just sort of stagnant blood.
Interesting.
Huh.
Is there any like vegetation on the banks of this river?
It's sort of dead up until the tree line, so maybe about 5 to 10 feet off, and then it hits the woods.
As far as we can see, it's kind of similar.
Correct.
And we know that it's either coming from or going to the garden. Interesting.
I feel like we need some serious irrigation here. Because when I came into this world, I came on ice. Yeah, and I don't think it was like blood ice. Pretty sure there was actual water.
Yeah. Irrigation, good word, by the way. You've been
Thank
brushing
you.
up on your 4-H?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I've never been one much for that book learning, but 4-H.
I shot across the anything?
I think you shouted at Tam, "Do you see anything?" That's my takeaway.
Is that what that was? The
Yeah.
auto-tuned?
Oh.
We're playing Grimm with T-Pain.
You're being affected by the GRIMM.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we need to find some water for the tree. It's not healthy. That's why it's sad. And I run a little bit upstream, a little bit as best I can, to see if I can see a spot where the blood is no longer flowing.
Okay. So you run up the river and you see sort of the dirt bridge that you had passed, and you kind of scamper up it and look on the other side, and you see, again, as far as it can see, the stagnant blood sort of continues to the east. And you look on the map and it looks like it's running to the garden.
Upstream or downstream?
Again, it's unmoving. So, sorry, upstream to the east.
Right.
I mean, obviously,
Okay.
all rivers,
So
you know.
move one direction, but
Yeah, but well, it's not moving at all, so you can just guess. But
well, maybe it's being caused by something over that way. Let's go find out. And I start walking that direction.
up the river.
Yeah, I start moving that way, but I see that people are kind of struggling to follow, I guess.
What are we doing? Aren't we supposed to be going to get roses for Mercury?
You're right, Maddie.
To go get the souls?
Yeah, you said it, Tam. We shouldn't get distracted, and I feel like we're getting sucked into another adventure here.
We're getting sucked into a wild adventure. Good.
Okay, we'll put a pin in it. We saw a willow tree and it's sick in the river of blood. We're going to come back after we get the roses and the jar of souls, and we talk to Mercury and we get the other things from BB. I forget. We're going to go get a rose though, right?
Right.
Let's go.
Okay, and I take the stick and I kind of push it into the unmoving blood so it sticks up a little bit
Okay.
because we didn't have a pin.
Perfect. And as you walk away, you see the tentacle rise from the blood. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be, hey, actually be nice. Maybe I should do that. Just roll with it. No, you continue on down the road. So each of you leave the willow tree, the sad-looking willow that stands sort of in the center of the blood river. And you move on down the road, ease, some would say, and you approach the crossroads. And for sake of time, you move through the crossroads relatively easily.
Oh, good.
I know. Had you gotten there quicker, there was a whole subsection. We won't worry about it now.
We'll save that for the mid-game post.
Save that for the mid-game
quickest section
post.
they move through.
Pretty good. And you continue south, and as the tree line becomes closer to the road, You start feeling a bit claustrophobic, but the sky is still well lit with stars. And you see to the left, the tree lines sort of jut down quickly, and a bed of roses, maybe 10 feet back, on either side of a very thin path leading up to what you can only presume is the garden, sits. And behind both beds of roses, behind one of the bed of roses, because we don't need redundancy here, is a large sign that says, "Do not pluck the roses."
There's probably a principal here too.
And it's probably a very spooky and evil principal with blood coming out of his eyes and with very big teeth. And
Mr. Anderson has a nose.
But if we take the knife and we cut it free, then we're not plucking.
You really think this creepy monster she described is going to forgive us on a technicality?
Well, we talked to a grove. What if we just ask the roses if they want to come?
Yeah.
And I bend down to one of the roses and say, "Hello?"
And the rose sits there. Either it's ignoring you, or it's just a rose.
Really thinks it's a rose.
You don't know.
I think it's ignoring me.
It could be trying to teach you a lesson. You never know.
Are there any roses just lying on the ground conveniently?
You can give me a seek.
I will do that. And I say to everybody else, take a look around, see if there's one that fell on the ground.
Take a look at me now.
Okay.
Phil Collins.
I succeeded at a level 4.
You have a pretty good view around, and you do not see any roses on the ground.
Gosh darn it. Okay, well...
See sticks on the ground?
Sticks? Sure, yeah, forest. You can always have a stick.
What do you
Tam,
think, Dan?
what if you remember with the acorn before? What if you just make a rose?
Yeah. Or we could just pluck them.
Or you can just pluck them.
And see what happens.
No, no,
I got
not
detention, but it wasn't so
It
bad.
does say, do not pluck. But on the other hand,
it's just a sign.
fuck the establishment.
I could try to imagine a rose, but it'll pale in comparison. So I pick up a stick. I pick up a stick and I look at the rose, and I look at the stick, and I whisper to the stick, and I said, "You're just as good as that rose. Don't let it look at you like that. It's not better than you." And I try really hard.
To turn the stick into a rose?
Yes.
Give me an imagination roll.
Okay. Success.
Death to Smoochie,
Nope.
Chris Wet Dreams. So you know that shows up to everybody, right?
That's fine.
Just so you know. Sorry, you succeed at a level.
2.
No,
So sorry, I did roll a 1, so that just means I succeed at my level.
correct.
So level 9.
You rolled a 2, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so you succeed at a grade 9. Perfect, of course. So you are holding a stick in your hands, and it transforms miraculously in the starlight to a beautiful rose.
Excellent.
You did it.
Dan.
There we go. Ow! I imagined it with thorns.
And you drop.
Right here.
Every rose has its thorn.
Okay. I pass the rose to Georgie.
Perfect. And I grab onto it.
Thorn.
When it comes to the talking, I think maybe one of you guys would be better at it. Are we ready to go meet Mercury?
Yeah, let's go. I hate this garden.
Poor garden.
Lines.
Fuck this garden! burn it to the ground.
Don't do
This isn't
that.
even the garden. You can see there's a small path leading up, and you see a large walled area up the road a bit. But you know, that's for later. So, do you head north or do you swing through the pumpkin patch?
Head north.
Okay. So you head back north through the crossroads, and for sake of expediency, you head along the field, and you are down at the corner, just across from the workshop/mill, at the turnoff towards the bridge.
What's the deal with this
Are we
workshop,
ready?
by the way?
Oh, and Spitz sort of panicking lands on your shoulder and says, "Don't go in there. The man who lives there is not a very nice man.
Who's that?
I don't know his name, but
What's not nice about him?
I've seen him try to take children and use them
Kids
for
like
his
us?
own good. Kids like you, yeah.
I thought we were like unique.
Well, I think you're different than the other kids that come here. Too soon. Too soon. And she flutters off ahead.
Well, I say we press on. That place doesn't sound very pleasant.
Yeah, fuck that.
It's not a very nice place. You don't need to go there yet.
I run up to the front and grab the flowers and pluck them and run away. From this place as well, because they have flowers also. Just there.
Perfect. So
Screw
you
them.
run up and you pluck the flowers?
No, I don't. They're gonna grab me.
There you go.
The way we...
So you begin heading south towards the bridge, and again through the starlight, you see a figure standing menacingly in the center of the road. Just beyond it, you see two large wooden pillars and a rope that swings below its waist and back up as it fades to the background. A large wooden bridge sits behind this figure, and as you walk down the road quietly in the still of the night, you see it. It turns towards you. It's about the size of a grown man. It sits bare chest in the moonlight, its skin gray and filled with deep carvings. The carvings are almost tribal in nature, large circles, dark, and you can see them against its gray skin. It has 3 fingers on either hand, either arm, at the end of either arm, and its lower half looks inhuman. And as your eyes follow its stomach up towards its face, you see a beard, large black eyes, and antlers out of its head, sort of springing off towards the sky. It sort of turns to you slowly and confident, and in a soft voice it says, "Who goes there?"
We are but 4 travelers who have heard rumors of a most beautiful being named Mercury.
And the creature is sort of in an inhuman, almost its back is almost arched as it turns towards you. And it sort of lets out a sound that you can't quite place. It's not a laugh, it's not a gasp, it's just sort of a like a reaction to your presence. And it stands still, waiting for you to continue.
Then I look to the others.
The flower. Give it the flower.
We thought that a gift would be best to give to such a beautiful being, but, and I cast Maddie a glance, but we, in our search, I don't think we were able to find something that could match the true beauty that we would be witnessing. And I go to hold the flower out towards the being.
And with large thuds, Mercury turns and begins walking towards you slowly, and you see that her feet are hooved, and she leaves deep tracks in the dirt as she approaches you. While she seemed human height, you now see that with her back sort of extended fully upward as she approaches you, she's maybe a good 2 feet taller than the tallest man you've known, or person you've known. And the four of you sort of cower a bit as she leans forward, her head down towards you, Georgie. And she says, "A gift for no reason than a gift?"
A gift to perhaps make a friend.
And she reaches out with her sort of thumb and one finger, and she goes to take the rose from your hand.
Careful of the thorns.
And she holds it, and she holds it up in the starlight and sort of turns it around and looks back at the four of you. And give me a roll.
Careful, has thorns.
He said that already.
Oh, God, I'm so far.
Give me whatever you got.
Can I use pluck?
If that's what you want to do, sure.
I'll use that over cool.
Well, I'm going to say, you're not necessarily trying to get... Oh, one below. Oh, Chris, what are you trying to roll for?
I don't know. I'm so tired.
Well,
I thought we were all
you rolled for
rolling.
something, so we're going to say Chris was the one who rolled for
Roll
pluck.
for pluck and rolling, I
Okay,
guess.
so you got a 1 on your pluck. So roll again.
Oh, no.
You did it.
I know. I deserve this. I deserve that, too.
Oh, another grade lower.
Oh no.
There we go.
Is it
2
the
grades
imagination
lower.
is fading?
Two,
on the rose?
2 grades lower than...
Lower than 1.
Okay. So as she holds the rose in the moonlight, you see it fade and sort of in like a sea of sparkles almost. They sort of float down, and then you see her holding the stick that you disguised. And in her fingers, she tightens it and snaps the twig. And she bellows out towards the four of you an inhuman guttural cry and looks between the four of you. I'm not going to try to do it because it's just too scary. Guys, let's be honest. It's too scary.
Wow.
It's too spooky.
Thanks, Owen.
That's good, because I just put on clean underwear for
You're
the first
welcome.
time in weeks, and I don't want to soil them.
But it does scare the fuck out of you. This thing is almost like a beast. And it's as it bellows, its jaw opens wider than you could have thought possible. And Georgie, it happens almost inches from your face. The betrayal on the creature's face as her eyes turn to slits, feels very, very palpable. And she turns to the four of you and says, "How dare you?"
You see? In your presence, a rose as beautiful as that is reduced to a mere stick.
In fact, we knew we couldn't find a natural flowers to even come close to comparing to your beauty, so we had to magically create one, and it still didn't compare.
This is your pitch. Let's roll for it.
Actually, I'm going to use being brave,
Okay.
which is I will expend a pluck, which is once per scene before making a pluck test, I can expend 1 pluck grade to automatically succeed at the test.
You don't know how difficult the test is. All right. So you
Doesn't matter.
You're right. So say again.
So I can expend like a pluck, and then I can just automatically succeed at it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I kind of step up, and I'm like, so that's a thing, because we knew nothing on this in this whole GRIMM land was as beautiful and as super awesomely impressive as you. So we tried to make something that could almost come close to compare, but we couldn't, and we failed, and we're sorry, but we tried. And now we just want to be friends and cross the bridge.
Please.
Mercury is sort of stands, her mouth still slightly agape.
She's really impressed with that speech, I can tell.
Unfortunately, she is, because you rolled really well. But also because, from my perspective, that's a better pitch than saying, here's a beautiful rose. To say that nothing could compare to you, musical stuff.
Nothing compares.
That's the joke. Anyway, so she looks at you and says, oh, well, yeah, okay, fine.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, what the fuck? You succeeded at convincing her, and at the very least, her vanity is part of it. So she takes a step back, and you can see the anger still on her face as her eyes turns to slits. So disappointed at the automatic success. Oh, so salty. Not salty. No, just you know, it's interesting to see how she's gonna change her mind all of a sudden. And
you are super impressive. You know what? From here, I can't even express how. Wow, that's all I got.
She takes a step back, and with her hand, she sort of beckons you forward and points you towards the bridge.
I say, Tam, stop whispering over there.
Tam is saying shit.
Smack talking.
Smack talking. She's gonna backhand you as you go by, Tam, because she's a mind reader.
So as we go, I'm gonna turn and kind of like hold on to Georgie or Tam or Marie, just so I can keep my eyes on her and just be like, I can't even look away.
You're really laying on thick.
Yeah.
Really?
Luckily, she likes it. She's that
I'm
big.
actually starting to believe the fact that Maddie's into her. Maddie, you should totally go ask her out. I think you got a shot.
Maybe.
It's really nice to meet you. We'll see you soon. Can't wait.
So you continue across the bridge, and again, it's sort of a wood and rope bridge that is well above a pretty deep chasm. And the woods on either side split as well. And you can see farther down in the starlight the bridge that Spitz had pointed out that was broken. And as you're making your way across the bridge, you see Mercury return to her post at the end of the bridge. And she watches you as you move off.
Is this her good side, maybe? Like, does she look really good from the side?
Oh, she looks the same.
Oh,
hey man, different strokes.
I was thinking that we were gonna be like all complimentary to her, and then it was gonna be like, I'm not Mercury, and then it was like this beautiful woman.
That's Mercury.
You guys are friggin' weird.
My name is Gertrude.
Gertrude. And you exit the bridge, and as you enter into the far part of the woods, it sort of comes to a dead end. And you begin walking down the dirt road, and through the trees you see a small path, just a dirt path that sort of carves up a little bit. And it looks like within the woods there is a large dwelling.
That must be BB's house.
What does it look like? Can you
Like
describe
a
it?
cabin?
It's a large dwelling of some kind.
Yeah, you can't quite see it from the woods.
It's vaguely distant.
You can't see the forest from the trees.
Are there any lights on?
No.
Any windows?
Not that you can see from this distance.
Well, let's approach.
Oh, perfect. So you walk in without checking for any booby traps or anything like that. You just walk right into the place that the butcher said they couldn't go.
Well,
Yes,
I
but we
said
don't step out on any
approach.
of
Too
the
late.
booby traps.
Do you want to roll anything to check?
Sure. I'll roll a
Hawkeye.
check for traps one.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm gonna seek. Can I use my Hawkeye skill?
Of course you can.
Great. I'm gonna do that.
You do anything you want.
Here I go.
I live to make you guys happy.
Whee! So I get plus
Failure.
2. What?
Fail. So that's
Just everything Joe does tonight, failure, automatic failure.
and that was so you succeeded at a grade
At
above.
a grade higher. So do I get to throw again?
Sure.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
Oh, then no.
Look, I got a 4, which plus 2 is a 6. So I'm gonna do it again.
No. What? Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
help
got
her this
another
time.
4.
I want to help her.
Last
Do I-
time, so last
Infinite
game,
rolling.
so last game I said that that your plus 2 will bump you up. We're changing that for obvious reasons. So your plus 2 does not let you go to a 6 to allow you to
I think
go
I got
higher.
like a grade 8 or something.
I
Tam
know.
allows
So
it.
what you will get is you will only be able to level up on a
Fuck.
grade 6.
It is now 9 o'clock.
Right? Someone's clock just went off. I've been streaming for an hour now.
At the tone of the third chime.
Oh, that would have been fun. So no, you succeed at the first one when you first rolled a 4. So what's your grade in that?
My grade in Seek is a 3, so I guess a grade 4.
Perfect. So you take a look at the edge of the woods. And what you see sort of is an odd, a bit of a disturbing sight. The 4, you pointed out to the 4 of you, or the 3 others, well, Spitz is there. All the trees seem to bend inwards to the path, as if they've been sort of almost broken, and it sort of creates a teepee as you begin moving farther back. But you don't see anything, any sort of trap or anything like that as you sort of approach. And you begin walking up the thin dirt path, and it clears slightly, and what you see is a large dwelling, the home of BB. It's almost the size of a mansion. It's a huge estate, except instead of brick and mortar, it's built with sticks and mud. The trees are broken and bent in such a way that makes it almost loom large above you. There are windows of bent and broken branches. The walkway leading up is stone slabs and pieces of wood, all that look like they've been carved through by hand almost. It would be impressive if it didn't sit so sinister in the middle of the woods. And it makes each of you feel very uncomfortable. The home of something wholly evil.
Well, let's hope that the butcher's right and he's not here. Am I right? I'm right. Okay.
Maddie
do
doesn't give a
this.
shit. He's like,
Let's do this, yo.
Well, they
Bring
said
it
it was
on.
an empty house.
I think it's lovely.
do
I
you,
always
Tim?
wanted to live in the woods. Well, I wanted to live in the woods, so yeah, I do. Narrator.
You
It's
walk up.
scary, but it kind of looks like a cool fort. I wish I could do something like it.
It's huge. It looks like
Maybe
it has
less
multiple rooms in it.
terrifying.
It's massive.
Does it look like sound, like it's not going to cave in or anything? Walls are
Pretty
still.
you walk up and you see in between the large sort of branches the mud that's dried and sort of creating, this wall. You put your hand on it and it feels sturdy, very strong. And yeah, you approach. There's a large sort of door made of birch trees that looks like they've been fused together almost. A lot of the woodwork seems, you want to say supernatural, it just seems inhuman. It seems not of this world. It seems impossible for a man to make.
So, like, not of this world or not of our world?
Not of a world that you can tell. And you haven't seen anything like this even in this world.
Right. Okay.
Almost as if and again, I'll give this to Marie because she rolled really well. The way the branches and the logs of the trees are bent and shaped, it's not natural. It's not like they've been bent through skill. It's almost like they've been turned as if made by a dream or a mind.
So no windows.
There are windows. There are windows, yes.
Can I look in one?
You can try it. So you go to look at windows, and they're thick glass, almost difficult to see through. But all you see inside is just darkness.
can't see anything in there.
There are about 3 windows on one side to the left of the front door, and about 2 windows. And again, the building's maybe 3 stories. I mean, it's huge. It's a mansion of muck.
Spitz, why were you afraid to bring us here?
And she's been actually not on anyone's shoulders. She's been sitting. So you have to look around for a bit. And she's sort of at the edge of the woods before this building. And she sort of looks up towards you and says, I don't know. This is where he lived. And I don't like this place.
Are there any good places here? Because every place is like not a good place, right?
This isn't just not a good place. This is a bad place. This is a dangerous place. This is a place that you can't trust.
Is there any moving, any sounds in the woods?
None.
Any sounds from inside the house?
Give me a listen or a seek.
Okay. Can I roll with my Hawkeye?
No.
Okay.
You're not a Ghostbuster.
Well, okay. So that's a grade 3.
If anybody gets that reference, I'll be surprised. 5, so grade 3. So you put your ear to the door, and you do not hear anything.
And are there any tracks leading to or from this place?
Now that's a good question, and you can use Hawkeye for that.
I will.
I'll help her.
I did a bad job. Yes, please help me.
So now you can roll again, or roll an
Great.
additional.
I will.
I was wondering
Whoa!
whether or not.
No, you don't see any tracks. There are ancient tracks, but you can't decipher one amongst the others.
If there were any, the fact that we're all walking back and forth around on a trail means that.
Exactly.
Can we walk around the outside of the house?
Absolutely. You can do anything. It's a role-playing game.
Well, I'm not asking if I can so much as.
Then don't say.
Whether or not it's a good idea.
Yes, walk around the house.
Let's do it, Marie.
Let's do it.
All right. So to the left or the right? One's right and one's wrong.
To the
I'm gonna
right.
go in the house.
Do the correct one.
So you head around the left of the house. And Tam, you're going in?
No, I'll wait. I'm feeling very volatile tonight, guys, so I'll just stay quiet.
It's okay.
Tam's
It's
gonna
gonna
get us all killed.
work out well.
Tam needs to take her Ritalin.
Yeah. So you begin around the left of the house, and you see, which is tough to decipher. It's tough to decipher against the trees, but the house shape is even box-like. You do reach a corner, and you turn and see almost again a straight chute towards the back. Windows on this side as well, and as you peek in each one, you can see that the thick glass and the darkness inside mask anything that you might be able to see. Actually, no, you know what? Let's give you a seek roll. Whoever wants to be looking at this.
Maybe
first
someone
one.
else should look.
Here, I'll take a look. So I've rounded the back, and out of curiosity, and not even really thinking, I just put my hand out to feel the texture of the house, and I kind of recoil my hand back because it doesn't feel right.
It doesn't. Something about it does feel very off. And why don't you give me some sort of roll to sort of suss out what?
I'll do a seek as well. I succeeded at a grade 5 + 2 from Hawkeye.
Yeah, but we're gonna say that only natural 6s go up, so you'll just succeed at that level. Okay. Yeah. So something about it seems, again, you sort of take a look at the way it's been constructed and the mud, and you sort of play out in your mind how something like this would get built, and it doesn't seem to have any sort of rhyme or reason as to how. It looks almost like the mud that seals these pieces of wood together was simply there and it was stuck together. It just seems like a structure that shouldn't exist. There's no nails, there's no rope to bind the corners, it's just there. And who was looking into the window?
Georgie.
Oh, sorry, that was your roll. I thought you meant...
Yeah.
My apologies. You look into what seems to be a very large room, and there's a very dim light coming from inside, a flickering light that you can maybe suss out as a candle or maybe even a fireplace. But all you can see is the size of the very large room that sits on the other side of this window.
With an idea, I stomp away from the window back to the other side of the house, and I go straight up to Tam, and I say, Tam, we need to get inside there, but there's a candle or a flame of some sort that's roaring inside, and he might be here. Do you think you'd be able to reach out with your imagination to see whether or not there's a presence here? Safe for us?
I can try. Let me think here. I know. And I look down and I pick up like a spider that's walking around.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at it and say, I don't know. We haven't met. My name's Tam. And I shake one of its little legs.
And it sticks its little leg up and shakes it out.
And I say, I'm fond of spiders. And I think it's wonderful what you guys can do crawling on ceilings. Would you help us out? Could you crawl in there and look for me? And maybe I can see what you see. And I try to make a connection with the spider that I could almost like a friendly.
Give me an imagination roll.
Okay. Should I be spending imagination points?
Yes.
I don't want to.
Why not?
No. Okay. So I'm going to roll twice because it's my focus.
Okay.
I'm going to roll another one because I succeeded one level above. So a level 10, or if I spent 1 point now, a level 9.
Okay. So the spider, you feel like you can see a glint of understanding in its many eyes. And as you let it down on the ground, it crawls away. Now, you obviously can't see through its eyes, which is what you were trying to suss out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But something about it seems like it's going to come back to you. And it crawls up the stone steps to the front door and slides under it. And after a few minutes of standing there in the dark, the hairy black little legs of the spider peek back out, and it crawls down the steps and into your hand and back up. And as you hold it to your ear, you hear in the faintest, tiniest voice. What were you asking it again?
What's in there? I want to go in there. Can you go in there and find out if there's someone in there?
Yes.
What's in there? What did you see? Can you say it a little deeper, please?
It's a spider. That's how it talks. Can you understand spider? Because I can't. No, it says that it did see movement.
Do the voice.
I did see movement.
There's
There was a
something,
helium balloon in there too.
there's something there.
I can see movement. Did you see just flames flickering, or did you see something living? Not in the sense that the fire is alive.
Yeah, no, it tells you that there's... What am I saying? What are you asking? This voice is throwing me off.
Is there something living in there? And if so, what is it?
It doesn't know.
Damn it, Harlan!
I don't know.
I should start plucking legs off one by one. Okay, I'm gonna. What do you know? Start charging the spider.
It tells you that there was a fire, a very dim fire in the fireplace, and it saw movement up against the wall, but beyond that it knows nothing, and the spider runs away, embarrassed by its voice.
Okay.
I related this to George. George, there's definitely someone in there, and there's a fire roaring. I don't think it's BB though. Something tells me it's not BB. Maybe somebody else is living there.
Based on what? You know nothing. It could. It's BB's house.
It's called instinct, Harlan.
Oh, fine, whatever.
Maybe BB came back.
Maybe
Matt.
BB came back.
Did we find a back
Baby, come back.
door?
Yeah, so as you continue around, there is a back door. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's so good.
Stupid. Okay, so we found a back door. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Beyond the house, again, sort of in the remaining area that's cleared from the trees, there is sort of what looks to be a sort of a pile of burnt rubble. And you sort of walk over to it, and again, everything here seems still and lifeless. And this pile seems like it has objects that have been burnt long ago in it, but the coals aren't wet, or they're long since cold. But no rain has fallen on them to disturb them. No dust covers them. There's just a large pile of burnt.
Marie picks up a stick and starts kind of turning the items over to see if there's anything recognizable, useful.
Sure, give me a seek.
Again?
Well, that's, the game. It's more
You did a bad job.
You did. It's more like what you can suss out from, God, suss is the word of the day. If that's a word. And by the way, BB, I'm going to stop saying BB because last game, the Butcher said what BB stands for, and it's Boogeyman Bannon. So from here on out, I'm just going to say the Boogeyman because it's more scary. Although, ironically, I think BB and Boogeyman was your character as well. So
Yeah.
But I had it first.
You're right.
And you succeeded at which grade?
Grade 1,000,000.
That's really?
Grade
Wow.
2.
Okay. No, 1,000,000. You do notice something in the rubble. It's my sarcastic grin. No, you do see a burnt...
Spider.
No. A burnt...
No!
crib.
Oh,
Pieces of a crib.
that's spooky.
Mm-hmm.
I'm spooked.
You should be. Trey's spooks. All right, guys. You got the back door. You got the front door.
So I'm gonna look around the entrance, sort of like the step before the back door, because I'm all of a sudden thinking about this Scooby-Doo episode that I used to watch when they're going in and they open the door and then they fell into the basement and they were trapped because they went to open the door. And now I'm thinking,
Classic.
yeah, right?
Mm. Mm. So you approach the front door, which is shut, and you're going to open it and look, or you're going to try to look through?
We're looking for any kind of Hanna-Barbera type traps.
Gotcha.
That's
so,
what I'm looking for.
So we're looking for repeating scenery.
That's
back
right.
door.
Right.
Specifically Hanna-Barbera, not
You're
Acme.
looking to pull off the mask and see the
So,
old store owner that didn't want to move.
I got a grade 3 in Seek and I rolled a 5.
Okay. Now, are you looking through the door? Sorry, you're looking at the front hallway.
No, I was basically like the step right before the front door.
Okay,
'cause
yeah,
that's
no, you
what I
can
was
see them
thinking
clearly.
of.
You don't even have to. You can
Yeah.
see it's like 3 steps and then the door.
No.
Yeah, but you can. With your roll, you can look underneath the door if you want. It looks like it's floor. But obviously, the spider did say it's something moving inside, so you don't want to die, or do you?
Like, what are we like? Okay, if I'm right, this is a square building. No matter which entrance we go in, is it a big it's a mansion, right? You said.
Yeah.
And it seems like the back door and the front door would not be connected into one big open space. It'd be very
Correct.
different.
Yeah, they're off center. The one.
And what this
sort of-
light? Which one was closer? It was close to the front door or the back door?
front door.
So if we're going to be sneaky, we should go into the back door. But do we actually want to use that method? Are we trying to sneak? Because we don't think it's BB in there. Why don't we just knock? It's not our house. We should just go in there and sneak around. Why don't we knock and say, hey, we're here for the souls?
Maybe we should say something else and see if the souls are in here and see who's inside first.
Maybe you should imagine a search warrant with our names saying it's okay for us to be there.
I know
whose
exactly what a
authority?
search warrant looks like.
Should we just knock? See what happens?
Let's say that Mercury wants to talk to them. really bad and that they should go and talk to her. And then maybe they'll leave the house and we can go in.
What if it is the boogeyman, guys? We're going to be putting ourselves in a really...
What if? Oh yeah.
The boogeyman's not here anymore.
What if we knock on the front door and then we run around and go in through the back door and lock them out?
Like Nicky Nine Doors.
Nicky Nine
Yeah.
Doors.
Okay. Well, it's
Does anyone
only
have a flaming bag of poop?
I
Where's
got a
Holly?
lighter.
Where's Holly? That's great. Oh.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
She did that once in game.
Okay, so let's do that. Okay.
So someone has to go around the back and we have to lure the guy out.
Who's the best at hide and seek?
I'm really good at hiding.
Well then,
Not very
I
good
think
at
you should do it. You sound like a spider. All right. So I
So
run
what
around.
you want me to run around to the back and go in?
No. You're gonna knock on the front door, and we're gonna sneak around the back.
And
And then when he comes in, we're gonna run through and lock the door from the other side. Maybe he'll get stuck on the outside.
let's do it.
But then you'll be stuck on the outside.
Well,
So
I
you
can
come around, and here's the secret knock: 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2.
Okay.
Is that the Stranger Things one? What was it?
No, I think it was 2, 1, 3.
2.
Wasn't it?
But what's ours though?
Well,
1, 2, 3, 2.
How about shaving a haircut?
Yeah.
2 bits.
There we go. Okay, shaving a haircut's 2 bits.
I'm gonna remember.
So is it the shave and the haircut or the 2 bits part?
All of it.
I'm just gonna do the whole knock, and I might
Okay.
scream one time if I really have to.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. So we run to the other side of the house, and how are we going to know when to do this?
You can always just listen.
Yeah, we'll listen.
So,
See if we can hear the knock.
you head to the back of the house and you hear Marie. What do you do?
Marie approaches a door and she goes, "Okay, Marie, you got this. It's gonna be no problem. Okay, just gonna knock, then you're gonna run, and you're gonna hide your best hide ever. Ready? Go!" And she goes, and then run.
As your knuckles rap on the door, the teeth sink into your flesh. No, you hear the knock echo the large front hall, and you turn and you run, and you hide behind a very large tree, and you don't have to roll. You're well hidden, and you watch the door, and nothing happens. And you guys at the back door, what are you doing?
So I'm thinking if that plan was all there because like Marie wasn't really one of us in the first place, so if something happens to her, it's okay.
It's Tammy.
Is that the plan?
I was the only girl in this group at first, and now I want to be. So I guess we hear the knock, and we would then enact our plan.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So
We're
you
going to creak the door open.
So you enter the back, and the door does creak very loudly. It's a large wooden door again. It almost looks like a piece of wood that was stretched out to the size of a door. Something about it just seems odd. And as the door opens and you step in, you see the kitchen. A large, beautiful kitchen, but the center island, the roots like a tree springing up to almost a large stump. All of the cabinets and the floor, everything is made of wood. It feels, wood and stone, I should say. It feels like an organic kitchen, like it was grown from the ground. Moss covers the floor. The walls are laden with stone and carvings and things like that. And as you step into the kitchen, you get an eerie sense about you. There's a door to the far side that leads to what you can imagine is the front hall and where the front door would be.
Okay, now we got to wait for Marie. She's gonna come back and knock, and then we'll let her in. Oh no, we gotta lock the other person out.
So
We gotta find the front door.
you stand there waiting to listen, and she stands there looking at the door, and after a good 5 minutes, nothing happens.
Well, we probably wouldn't have waited 5 minutes,
After a
right?
good 12
Because
seconds.
the plan, because the plan was for us to run through and lock the creature out.
I'm thinking we would have just pushed through the kitchen and.
So we're gonna push through and try to run to the front door to lock it out in time.
Okay, so you push through the kitchen, and again, you enter the large front hallway. You see a staircase leading upwards. You see sort of bookcases, barren of books on the stairs going down. And you see cobwebs filling the corners. You see, again, all the large wood stretching up to the high ceiling. To the right, as you're coming from the kitchen looking at the front door, you see large double doors open, and you see a flickering light from in that large room. And you run towards the front door, and you lock it, or you unlock it?
We would
Yeah,
stop
the plan was.
we would stop because we see the door closed.
Right, so you stop because you see the door's closed. And that's where you are. You're in the front hall.
Marie at this point is making her way around to the back of the house, intending to see whether her friends
Yeah.
have gone inside or not.
But I'll open the front door and be like, Marie, it's okay. Come on back. Marie!
Okay.
Marie!
And as you make that sound, you notice a movement at the bottom of the stairs. If you were to enter through the front of this house, there's a large staircase to the right going upwards. There's the double doors to the left leading to the room with the flickering fire. But at the bottom of the stairs to the right, again, this is if you're coming to the front, you see something move. It's sort of inlaid almost against the wall, tough to spot, and it's stricken with cobwebs that string upwards. It's black. And as your whisper sort of hisses out and echoes in the large, empty hallway, the figure sort of steps out, and you hear the clacking of hard soles on the floor as you see a creature about the height of your waist, about the height of your knee, step out from the shadows, bringing the cobwebs with it. And Marie, do you continue the front door?
I guess she would have heard.
Marie!
She's probably. Oh God. She's probably made her way halfway towards like the front corner of the house before she hears Maddie's strangled.
Okay, so
Whisper.
Marie's strangled whisper, or Maddie's strangled whisper.
And so she's like, "What? No, you got no.
It's okay. Come on back.
No, Maddie, listen to me. It's still inside the house. It's still inside the house."
And Maddie, as you see her say that, you hear the movement. It sounds like, again, like hard stone against the floor. And you turn, as the three of you do, towards the figure. And slowly the cobwebs being drawn from the wall that it was against for what must have been centuries, it turns towards you. Its dead eyes stare directly at the three of you, and before of you sits a black sheep. And it goes, "Oh, hello there. We're going to stop there for the mid-game post." Weird. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to GRIMM Chapter 9. That's right. We are almost at the end of this crazy tale. It has been a whirlwind adventure. Thinking back to how fucking long ago it was that we started, it's crazy. And there was something earlier in this game that made me think, oh yeah, that was like that long ago. So yeah, very, very cool. Anyway, mid-game post. This is the time where we stop the action and we jump to the Facebook group and ask you guys if you have any questions or thoughts on we asked you a question. The first person to answer it gets XP. I'm just talking about
Questions or thoughts?
Yeah, questions or thoughts. Questions, comments, concerns, you let us know. Mid-game post, I was thinking about this because I didn't pre-plan one. And I think the question is going to be, what was Marie Schultz's name before she revealed who she truly was? So,
go on.
yeah, I can't remember myself. So
Wow, you gotta go back.
I
You gotta be,
know.
like watching like the first. Wow.
yeah, well, not that long. Before she admitted she was.
Yeah, but like the 35 year later long.
Exactly. Well, that was like the best part. So There we go. Question is posted. Whoever answers correctly will roll, and whoever wins that will get 1 experience point. But in the meantime, welcome to Grimm. It's an 18+ show, of course. There's going to be possibly swearing. I just say it's 18+. I don't always know what's going to be
I definitely
happening.
said fuck at least once already.
You fucking did not. Fuck
just
that.
did.
Who fucking swears?
Fucking
And I was
all.
really close to it. Zoot!
Zoot!
Zoot.
Us Canadians, we swear quite a bit. More than Americans, at least
Damn
in this
straight.
group. They're very...
They say that people who swear are statistically
That's not...
more
Don't...
honest.
I hate that.
No, statistically, Harlan. They say
Say
this.
anything about an individual.
It makes me cringe. I hate that. I hate that statistic. I hear it every few years. And it's always posted by people who think they're smart. Yeah, you smart people swear more than dumb people. Yeah,
I'm
fuck
fucking
that.
smart. I fucking swear.
That's it, right? It's just a way for people to justify. I mean, you can quantify anything that way. Anyway,
Can't be
Well,
true.
I don't swear, and I lie to you guys all the time.
that's true. You do lie to me a lot.
I'm lying right now.
Anyway,
I
it's an
actually
18+ game.
It's true. I remember he said he'd call the next day.
Oh.
Oh.
MVP was
Still waiting.
Mr. William Miller. Congrats, buddy. He had a really good post about bushcraft. He basically said, well, it wasn't about bushcraft. He said, what real life skills have you had that sort of kind of work in game? And I thought it was a really interesting post, and it sort of stirred a lot of interesting comments and questions and things like that. And William's been with us for a while, so congrats, William. It was a good post. It was the most valuable, in fact. This Saturday, ladies and gentle beans,
boy.
November 4th is this Saturday. It is the end of the end. It is the date that I have been looking forward to for a long time. It is our 24-hour live stream, and tomorrow I'm going to be posting the schedule so you guys can see what you want to drop in for. It is going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be filled with early morning gaming of Inside, which is a really cool game that I've never played, so I'm excited to do it. We're going to be playing Doom, then the new Wolfenstein game, then a little bit of Stardew Valley, then we're going to be playing some co-op gaming, which is TBD. That's not the name of the game. Fuck, I love Arrested Development. Just anyone who's seen Arrested Development, they can't pick the fucking thing, so they say TBD and they raise like $10,000 for TBD. But the really terrible thing is they do the same thing the next year. They raise it again. Anyway, and then the end of the night, ladies and gentlemen, we are ending with a D&D game around the table, live, in person. It is going to be crazy. We're going to have miniatures and models and all that kind of shit. So. Yeah. You're going to find out about all of it tomorrow. I am excited. I've taken off Friday to rest up and prepare myself mentally and physically. I am not going to be showering out of respect for those who can't shower. And I'm going to just say things.
Not coming over.
I have lots of conversation cards too. Like, look, what do you miss about childhood? I have them all pre-planned, so when I get really bored and I need to start talking, I can just pull one of those and start asking myself questions and then answer them, because ultimately that's all it's going to be. But yeah, this is November 4th. This is what we've been working towards, guys. This is Extra Life. We are still raising money, and November 4th is all about raising money for the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. It is a cause that is so important to us, that is so important to so many people. If you have the means and the time, please take a second. I'm not even going to ask you to donate, because so many of you people have already donated. What I'm going to ask you to do is share our page. We have many, many different ways that you can share it. What I would really appreciate everybody to do, sincerely, if you are okay with it, take one of the posts that we've done, even if it's just a link, and go to your personal Facebook, go to your Twitter, go to whatever, and just say, look, here are some guys that we like, that I like, or that me and my wife like, whomever. They stream role-playing games every Wednesday, but they're working right now with a charity called Extra Life. And if you have the time, can you please take a look at it? And if you have the money, please donate. That's what I would like from everybody. It is so great for all the people who have given money, and it is so great for all the people who have given time, and you know that we love you guys. And one of the things that would best help us would be if you also spread that word. So please consider doing that. I mean, no one's going to twist your arm. You don't have to do it. But even if Twitter is more comfortable for you, I know Facebook can be personal. You don't want to bombard people with things. Believe me, I know. So Twitter, even if you wanted to shoot an email to a few friends of yours, I think that would mean a lot to us and a lot to the people who have helped. We're not just talking about financial donations here. We're talking about Eldridge Essences, who've donated 50% of all of their proceeds this month to Extra Life. We're talking about Mike Kyle, who has donated PDFs during the spooky stream, as well as PDFs for tonight's game, which we're going to get to in a second. We're talking about Aisha and Bob Lyle, who have donated a video, as well as what I'm going to call a video game that I need to suffer through for you guys. That's sort of like a donation too, as well, which is probably going to be a good game. But we're talking about people who have not just donated, David Ionati, who have donated books, 3 fantastic books from his local store that he bought, and he was going to ship to somebody who had won something. It's not just about, you know, the financial way that you can support. Supporting this cause doesn't just support us, it supports all those people who are trying so hard to make it important. So please consider sharing, and it's that easy. If you can't donate, just share the information. It would mean so much to us. So consider doing that, please.
And for people who are interested in our stretch goals, we're about $350 away from the $4,000 mark. What's our $4,000?
Ho. Wouldn't you like to know?
It is what, a short film?
Short film.
Oh, that's right. Written,
with us
directed,
as whatever characters.
Yeah, written, directed by me, starring them. And probably mainly me. No, just
oh boy.
It's only because we know I'm going to be doing it, guys. Let's just be honest here. But no, it'll be
Harlan
really cool.
playing all of the PCs in your favorite campaign.
No, I will cut myself out as much as possible. No, but yeah, we'll do something really cool. Just like Ignorant Farmers. Just film Ignorant Farmers for 25 hours. That's it.
They have nothing to say.
Also,
consequences.
We're just going to talk about barley a lot.
I'm thinking we should open...
And we'll be trying on Harlan's socks.
Yeah.
I was going to say short film would also include the sock opening video, because maybe we're going to do that.
That's actually all we're doing on Saturday, is just trying to...
We're all going to be putting socks on Harlan.
That would be pretty nice, actually. I have very, very nice nice feet and very nice calves, actually. Very nice.
Please shower, though, my friend.
We'll see. So going back to Mike Kyle, he has very graciously and kindly donated some RPGs for tonight, for the highest Extra Life donation during tonight's game. So if you have not donated just yet, or maybe you want to throw down a little bit of extra money, I would highly consider doing that, because if you donate the most during tonight's game, you will win a copy of Tales from the Floating Vagabond, which is also a really, really, really cool game. Now, he's also said he's also giving away a bunch of others. I don't know if he's saying going along with that, but I'm going to assume he is. So he's also going to be giving away Deadlands Reloaded, Savage Worlds Arcane Powers, Deadlands Reloaded Martial Handbook, a lot of sort of add-ons. Oh, Player's Guide for Deadlands Reloaded, so a lot of Deadlands stuff as well. All of it's posted in the Facebook group. But so consider donating tonight, because that will also give you some PDFs. But it's not just about that, you know? It's about this, my heart, and how much I love. So please, share. That's the most important thing that I can ask of you tonight. Not just financially, but share. Sorry, I just want to shut that out to Mike Kyle. What were we talking about? Socks. Right. That's a real important thing. Let's be honest here. Looking for the sock pulling that I'm going to be doing. All right.
Are you gonna eat a chip on
Yeah. I don't know when I'm going to do it yet. That's a good question. I'm doing Growing Up with Alex in the morning. I guarantee he'd want to do it. But would that be cheap if I split it with Alex?
Yeah, you gotta eat the whole thing.
Yeah, I do want to eat the whole thing. I just feel like he'll be jealous. He'll be like, ah.
Maybe we can start the game of D&D with you eating the chip for the camera.
Okay. It'll
That would
either
wake you
start
up.
at end or be halfway through.
You're
Yeah.
going to be draining at that point.
You know what? We should use it as like an adrenaline shot.
Yeah.
If I'm really
And
tired,
wouldn't
I'll be like, all right, guys.
Making your brother jealous be part of being a brother?
Let's do this. Yeah, but I love my brother. Okay, adrenaline shot. It'll just come. You know what? Here, there's the best thing. The spicy chip will just come at some point during that day. I promise.
have to watch.
Yeah, you have to watch. I promise it will be done in the 24-hour period. I just don't know when. It might be right before bed, which might be a bad idea too.
23:59.
23:59. Could you imagine? 1 minute before midnight.
Thanks
All
for joining
right.
us.
The mid-game post. What was Marie Schultz's name before she admitted she was Marie? Zia said Claire, which is correct. Claire West said Godpool, correct. Michael Claire West. Claire Danes. Justin, incorrect. Mrs. Schultz, incorrect. Joe Fallick, that's technically correct, but also incorrect. So we're going to give it, it's going to be a 1d3. So we'll do a 6 and we'll half it. Drum roll me. 3, which ends up being Michael Carl Weber. That's right. Michael Carl Weber, you win the mid-game post. That was correct. Hope everyone's having a lot of fun tonight. We're getting crazy up in here. The black sheep is now revealed, so that'll be interesting.
I've been here the whole night.
Very awkward and just don't acknowledge it.
I honestly, I didn't get it. I was like, huh?
He's like, of the family. He's the one who's rebel.
No, but like my mind didn't even go there. I was kind of like, oh yeah, and I was like, oh right, yeah, that's cool. No, I love you, Justin.
Love you too.
You know that. All right, we'll wait for Michael, and then I guess we'll start this shit back up. In the meantime, what else I got going on here? Got some glue. Got an old iPod. Oh, look. Right? Wish I could play it.
Oh.
What do you mean, no?
No, it's pretty good.
That was impulse, too. That was just, I didn't. There, he's back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go back to whatever we're playing. Tales from the Floating Grimm. The black sheep steps out from the wall, pulling large strands of cobwebs. It looks like she's been there for centuries. And she turns to you and says, "Oh, hello."
Hi. What are you doing here?
What am I doing here? I take care of the place. Well, I haven't done a very good job.
Bless you.
As of late. Thank you, she says, sneezing as a gust of dust kind of comes off the floor by her hooves.
Well, we're sorry to barge in on you like this, but where's your master?
Oh, he left a long time ago, but I've taken care of the place since. And she sort of clops out to the hallway behind the three of you. Now, Marie, you're heading back to the door, I'm assuming?
I think she's probably still cowering behind a tree. Like, Maddie, he's still in the house.
No, it's okay. It's fine. It's like a nice little sheep. Come pet it.
Should I come?
Yes. Come on, Marie. Come on back.
Okay. And she does like a quick little stealth run across the like clearing of trees to the front door. Yeah.
And you
joins the party.
Yeah, you make it to the front door, and as you step in, you see a small, very dusty, very cobweb-covered black goat.
Oh my god.
Or black sheep, sorry, standing on the floor.
Black goat's creepier.
Yeah, black goat's very creepy.
It's not meant to be a black goat. It's meant to be a black sheep. It's not
Good.
meant to be creepy. And she looks up at you as you enter and says, "Oh, hello. So many guests." And she turns around. You can kind of see, like, as she searches for all the dust coverage. Where did I leave the dust? The duster.
Spitz!
Where's Spitz?
And the Spitz sort of flutters and comes through the door. She had been hanging back, nervous about the approach. And she comes in and she lands on your shoulder, Maddie.
See, it's okay. It's okay, Spitz.
I'm going to start wandering around the room, actually looking at artifacts and things in the space.
Sure. And you take a look around, and again, everything is sort of natural and organic. Natural bookcases, natural trees sort of in the walls. But there are items on the shelves, various trinkets and doodads, glassware, cups, knives, broken belt pieces. It's sort of a hodgepodge of bizarrities, almost like a not a dollar store, what's it called? Pawn shop. was like a pawn shop of nonsensical items seemingly put together. You see, candlesticks and broken glass everywhere. And Spitz lands on your shoulder, Maddie, and she begins talking to you frantically. No. You can't trust her. You can't trust her. No. We need to leave. Don't listen to anything she says. She's mean. And the sheep is sort of just clopping off towards the large room to the left with the double doors. And as she does, she sort of pushes it open with her shoulders, and the two double doors widen, and you see a very dim lit fire. And there's sort of a sitting room in here, almost like a converted ballroom. There's two couches facing each other, a fireplace beyond that, a large torn painting sitting above the fireplace. And the sheep sort of walks into the ballroom towards the couches.
Spitz, guys, maybe you should tell Georgie, but if you tell Georgie, make sure you have some evidence-based logic, because that's the way his brain works, and that's what he's going to want to know about.
And she does flutter over to Georgie without a second doubt and says, "We need to leave here. She's a liar. Don't listen to anything she says."
Okay, but that doesn't change the fact that we need to get the jar of souls.
And she flutters off and lands on a bookshelf high above the front door.
Okay, guys, the sheep doesn't seem to mind us being here, so let's just take a look around and be careful what you say to that sheep. I say, and I go into the kitchen.
What's your name, Miss Sheep?
And she sort of just looks at you and says, "Miss Sheep?"
Yeah, you're you have wool on you and 4 legs.
And she sort of just looks at you inquisitively, not quite understanding what your question is.
I guess I want to know, what should I call you?
And she seems to sort of understand that a little more. And she says, actually, let's give a cool roll. Or something.
I mean, Marie's the least cool.
Yeah.
I succeed at a grade 1 level.
I'm trying to get it so that how she would remember. But I'm going to say she does. I'm going to say she does. And she says, Karen's my name. Karen, of course.
Sorry.
Karen.
No, it's great.
I didn't make it up. That's her name.
No, I know, but when you were saying the name, that just doesn't matter. I'm like a 14-year-old boy. I thought you said cock.
I heard that too. Okay, no, it didn't.
Good.
Cock.
As he was going, cock, Karen.
Jesus Christ, Harlan.
You are what you eat.
Karen.
Karen, it's nice to meet you. Do you mind if we take a look around?
I'm not sure what you're looking for. There's not much here. Not since he's left.
We're just curious kids, We're kind of new in the realm and just want to, check things out.
I'm not sure how much he'd like that.
I don't know. So you don't want us to?
And she sort of just turns and continues walking into the ballroom.
Yeah, let's just fucking scatter.
Scatter!
Yeah, we all run in different directions.
Yeah.
Scramble!
Again, we're Hanna-Barbera. We all run through different doors.
All right. So, you walk away from the sheep.
Have we asked her about the jar yet? Can we just come out and ask her?
It's probably a better idea.
Okay, I talk to the sheep and say, Karen, did your master leave a jar here?
Oh, I don't deal with what he does. I don't venture into his study.
Where's his study?
And you sort of see her swing her sheepish head back and forth. She needs a bit of convincing, Tam.
Do you have any oats?
There
Does she
you
look
go.
like she needs to be sheared?
Alfalfa.
Probably. You could like convince her or shear her or get her a carrot or slap her. It's like 16 options here. I want to see all.
We could also just keep looking around the house until we find
or just do that.
the West Wing.
Just keep, no, go into the West Wing.
Karen, I'll try to convince her. Karen, we don't mean to do you any harm. We just need to find something. We're here looking for something. If you'd help us out, maybe we could help you with something. Is there something you need?
Is there something Karen needs?
Does Georgie hear us talking to Karen? Saying the name Karen?
I'm in the kitchen.
Damn it.
I'm in the kitchen as well, looking for Joe Louis, because if I was a boogeyman, that's what I'd eat.
Is Dinah in
Get
there?
me one.
So yeah, you walk into the kitchen. There's nothing. There's no food, obviously. In fact, most of the cabinets are just solid wood. They don't actually open. They're just sort of like
Display cabinets.
sort of. And if anyone wants to roll anything on sort of why this exists, because there's a lot of oddities to everything in this building. It just doesn't seem like a real home. Then you can. And
I don't know how... would I roll imagination for that? I don't really have any
Sure.
of the studies except for juvie.
No, let's do imagination. You can justify it in any way. In this case, you're trying to suss out maybe if it's real.
Yeah. I succeeded at grade 3 level.
Okay. I will give you sort of a bit of, based on what you've seen, it sort of seems like this house isn't like a functioning home. Like it's a badly drawn version of a house, as if someone who's never actually used a house created it, you know?
Oh, it's like a big ass dollhouse
Exactly.
made by a creepy gardener.
Perhaps.
Okay. I know exactly how to proceed in this situation.
Yeah.
Marie looks kind of at Tam and makes eyes like, I'm gonna go. And she darts out through the door.
Okay.
Back into the hallway.
Okay.
And goes upstairs.
Karen, is there anything you need? I mean, you've been here by yourself for so long.
And she sort of looks at you and says, "No one's ever asked me what I need. I would love a juicy carrot."
I can try to find you one. But first you need to show us the way to your master's stuff.
Roll for it. And you head upstairs, Marie, and as you reach the top step, you realize that the whole second story is just flat. It's just one big open area.
Whoa.
And
Very
everything
cool.
like exactly like you said at Dollhouse. And you can see the floor above you, but it doesn't look like there's a way to access it. It's just a big empty area.
How can I see the floor above me?
Because it's the ceiling. Well,
So I
it's
see a
a three-story
ceiling.
building. Yeah, but yes, but you know it's a three-story building, and you can see the floor above you. But no.
But
wait.
the stairs do not reach a third-story landing.
Correct.
Okay.
Like a dollhouse. Haven't you guys played with dollhouses? Some of them don't have stairs.
True say. I look around. Do I see any jars suspiciously full of souls?
No, this whole second story seems for show only.
Okay, it's a show home.
Pretty much.
Show home in the Grimlands. I
No,
poke around.
I convinced her to grade 1.
Yeah, she says, "Not until I get a carrot."
Fine.
And she sort of begins nudging towards you like a sheep can do, and you're like trying to kind of push her off a little bit, and she just keeps butting her head towards you greedily. She
My
smells-
dog does that. It's the fucking best.
Well, not when it's an evil sheep.
Evil?
I mean, a sheep.
That justifies the killing.
Kitchen boys, what do you do?
Well, I'm looking around. I'm gonna do a roll.
Yeah.
And can I hear the conversation that's going on in there, or is it nicely?
Yeah,
muffled?
no, you can hear pretty much what's going on.
Oh,
It's a
oh,
big
wow.
house, but it's very empty.
So I succeeded a grade 3 on the seek in the kitchen.
Okay. Again, not much tells you what's going on in this kitchen other than the overall feel that this house has, that it's organic, that it's grown almost out of the ground, that something about it seems fake and false and phony and not functioning.
And I go to reach for, is there a drawer? Like, are there drawers in this
Yeah.
kitchen? Or is it
And as you reach for it, you...
Well,
doesn't actually move.
I go to like reach for the drawer, but then I stop, and as I hear the name Karen, and I pull my hand back, and just there's something rattling around in there.
Okay.
As to knowing a Karen, do I have to roll to see whether or not I remember my my sweetheart? From my
Was her
past
name
life?
Karen?
I thought it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
We call her Booty Karen, but
That ass, remember? Karen the librarian.
K.
Hold on.
it would have been funny
Definitely
if
was.
it was a big donkey.
It definitely was?
Yep.
Okay. You don't recognize the voice, no.
Oh, okay. Well, she is a sheep, but
Yeah, the sheep was...
so that might alter her.
No, you're not wrong, but no, it does not sound at least like her.
It
You
doesn't-
recognize that voice pretty well because it, I mean, again, it sort of was...
Yeah. It's her rhythm. She has a very particular way of speaking, kind of like William Shatner, but like a really high pitched voice.
Yeah, no, her name was Karen, but it was, no, it didn't sound familiar.
Okay, and then I recognize that it isn't her, and I keep trudging around the kitchen.
Need to
And I
start
say,
using new names.
Well, how many names are there, Harlan?
I know.
The
Well,
sheep's name's Romulus.
I will tell you this in a meta sense for the community that watches, like Rin. This. No, I won't say that. Never mind.
You know what? You could have gone like full out GM and just like rolled with it and be like, ah.
But the
yes,
problem is, no.
good
But
call.
here's what I was gonna say. This character is a character, and it is also Karen. I've just apparently used two Karens.
It's a fucking different Karen.
It's a different Karen. So
I understand completely because it happened to me in Draftsky's Secret. I named the boy the same as like some other guy.
I had 2 Draftsky's in one
well,
campaign.
people's names sometimes repeat, guys. It's life. You
And
know?
I was like, oh yeah, that's his uncle. That's who he was named after.
It's like how we have so many people in our community named Mike.
That's true.
Right? See?
God. And like half of them I've slept with.
Lucky.
Sorry, more than
Yeah.
half. More than half. All right.
Moving right along.
Yeah, what do you guys want to do?
I gotta find a carrot.
Okay.
Well, Maddie, what are you doing in the kitchen?
you don't have to want to hear it. You can just beat
I
her.
think.
I could just
I
what?
think
her.
again, this is where I'd probably use the social chameleon skill, where I can take on the traits of anyone else,
Okay.
and I'd probably again use the dreamer. And I try to use my imagination to think, if I was BB and I was a boogeyman, where would I keep lost souls? Something
Perfect.
that was,
Let's do it.
yeah. All right. So let me do that. So I guess I can. What do I
Oh
do
my
with it?
god, I just saw Chris's name on Invictus.
Yeah, he's been rolling like that for all time.
I don't get to see the overlay like everyone else. Fucking
All right,
amazing.
so, anyway, I will do that.
I was wondering why Harlan kept throwing back to that.
So,
However, I don't do very well.
what did you roll as a success?
I rolled a 2, and I have a 3 in imagination.
Okay, I'll give you this. You absorb the ideas of sort of like the dreamer, and as you stand in this dollhouse-like home, you let your mind become vacant, and you sort of allow ideas to flow to you for a moment. And you do sort of absorb the memories of something in this house, but it's not the boogeyman. It's not the person that you thought. Something about this house seems familiar. And as you watch the front door, a vague, almost memory of the same layout, but with mahogany walls and a lighter floor and well-lit electrical lighting. You see a young girl walk through the front and up the stairs. And for a reason that you can't quite understand. You walk over to the foot of the stairs, and there's a bookshelf that follows the stairs leading up, and you reach out with your hand and push, and it spins, revealing a staircase leading down.
Georgie!
What, Maddie? What?
Come here!
It's like an Abbott and Costello. Oh, now I just want to play more Siege and Arrow. It's like basically all they are. All right. Yeah. So, and you see what Maddie's revealed, and Tam and Marie, as you come back downstairs, you see as well the dim light coming from the cellar.
I say to Karen, and you could have had a carrot. And I walk away from her towards...
And she sort of just tilts her head and walks into the ballroom. And you head to the top of the stairs, and you see a set of stone steps leading down to a basement, which is lit by blue light.
It's probably down there.
You have to quit whispering like that. It's the worst, and it's exactly as loud as talking. Just saying. Everyone's thinking it.
I was.
Marie follows everyone downstairs.
So you move down the stairs.
You mean like this?
I don't trust... Hold on. I don't go down the stairs because I don't trust the sheep now.
Why?
Why? Because, I don't know. I don't trust a sheep.
She needs to feed the thing in the basement. How else is she going to do it?
Exactly. So I will wait at the top of the stairs.
So you wait at the top of the stairs while the rest of the people go down to the basement. And as you reach the bottom step, you see a relatively small room. The walls are lined with half-finished paintings. And in the center of the room, you see a door. But it doesn't lead to anywhere. It's just a door standing, being held up by two pieces of wood. There's no knob on the door. It's completely empty, and it sort of sits slightly ajar. You can see through the hole where a knob would go. It's the first thing you notice. The second thing is that the blue light that fills this room is coming from a jar sitting on a box over to one side of the room.
There it is.
Do we just get it and get out? I feel like we don't know anything more about the boogeyman.
No, you're right, but there's nothing to know. We looked in the cupboards and the drawers, and I went upstairs, and besides the dumb painting and some couches, there's not really anything to see in here.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the point.
No, you're right.
Maybe the boogeyman's empty. Maybe that's why it does what it does.
Well, I was hoping there was another
It's trying
way,
to give
but
itself substance.
I guess we have no choice.
Torn painting is very like Angry Beast from Beauty and the Beast. Did we look at the painting?
Not torn paintings, half-finished paintings. Oh, the one above the fireplace.
Yes.
You never looked at it, no.
I don't think we should go through that door. I think it's too dangerous. We're already in a creepy basement.
Well, the door, you can see. It's just, it doesn't go anywhere.
I don't want to go in that door that goes nowhere. Let's get this soul jar and get out.
I nod.
We leave no soul jars behind.
That's good. That's good. That's my favorite joke of the night.
That was a good one.
That was really good.
Hey, Michael, good job.
Thank you.
Good job, buddy. You did good.
You got room in your bag for that there, Maddie?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
And I'll take out my guitar strap whip to make room for it.
Okay, and you drop it on the floor. Your soul left behind. And as you bring the large jar down, it's about, it's about this big, and it's filled with...
Oh, then I'll take my coat out as well and my hat, and I'll wear them.
And it's filled with blue lights that sort of swim almost as if they're underwater. Very slow, leaving little white trails as they move and dart around the glass. And you have it.
Georgie, is this what souls are supposed to look like?
I don't know. I don't know. I've never seen a soul jar before.
creepy. Let's get out of here.
I agree. Ready, Maddie?
So
Karen, you don't need to stay here anymore. You know that, right?
And she is staring at you at the top of the stairs, Tam. And she
Karen,
says,
your master probably doesn't treat you that well. You could probably leave and be free, like a normal sheep.
No, I can't leave.
How come?
And she turns around and begins walking away from you. So, the four of you head back upstairs. The three of you head back upstairs with the soul jar, and you see Tam in the front hallway. And you each share a knowing look. And you...
Okay. So then let's go.
Yeah, we go. We leave.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, yeah. You walk out of the front door. And as the door shuts behind you, you are outside.
Okay, Maddie, open the bag. I say as we get a little farther away from the house. So
Yeah, and you begin walking down the dirt path back to the road, and you open the bag, and the blue light fills the wood. And you see the swimming blue lights of the souls in the jar.
And then the eerie light.
I feel like we should keep it hidden. I don't think we should let that light go, because I think that light will draw other things to us.
I don't see why the butchers could have gone in there. Didn't that seem awfully easy?
It was very easy. Too easy.
A little too
think-
raff.
Okay, but we might not actually give this to the butcher. We have to find out what we're actually dealing with here. So I want to study the jar and see if that yields any results.
Let's do it.
Ooh. Okay, so I succeed at a grade 8.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so yeah, you take a look at the jar. Something about it does speak to what the butcher was talking about. Something about it seems like a life force, an energy. But something about it also seems a bit sinister. The lights don't seem... You just get an eerie feeling about it, I suppose. You know,
Okay.
you can't zoom in on one and see a guy winking at you or something like that. Something makes you feel uneasy about it, and the term lost souls seems fitting.
Tam, can I ask another favor of you?
Yes, Georgie.
You've got the strongest imagination out of all of us. I think that, I mean, with all my studying, I can find out little bits about this jar. I think you'd be able to find out more about what's actually in here and what its purpose is.
All right. I have an ability, Harlan, that I can learn magic just by studying it.
Okay.
So I'm going to study the jar for the duration of our journey back to at least close to where the butchers are, trying to learn how it works and maybe anything about it.
Okay. So you do. And I will say that you sort of study it as you're moving towards the butchers. And something about it rings true to you, that as you arrive, you don't want to be in possession of this. These souls seem cursed, evil maybe even, and you feel like unleashing them in any way, shape, or form would be a burden on the world. And for whatever the butchers want with these, it's deserved and perhaps even good enough for the souls, because nothing about them makes you feel safe.
Okay.
And that's what you
I don't think these are good souls, Georgie. I don't think these are the types of souls that should be let free after all. Something about them, they're dark, and I think the butchers are going to take care of them.
So we can trust them?
Not that we can trust the butchers. I think if they had their way, they would do. I think it's their charge. I think it's what they do.
Okay. Well, then I guess let's not waste any more time. I wrap the bag around the jar and keep walking.
Yeah, and after a short walk, you arrive at the butcher's, and the middle butcher walks over to you and sort of eyes you up and down, seeing the blue light glowing from you. And he says, Did you find the lost souls?
Show him, Maddie. Okay, I'll show him. So I grab the bag.
Maddie reveals it.
Sorry. Dun, dun, dun. As I'm opening it, I'm like, dun, 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 dun,
And he takes it from you.
dun, dun.
And
Oh,
as he does,
all right.
the blue light illuminates his face. And for the first time, you see his face sort of with direct light on it. And you see the deep lines in his face, almost like bark. They're deep and jagged, and they're like cracks all over his face, as if he's porcelain. His eyes are almost completely hollow and dead and completely white. And he grabs it and steps back, holding the jar, coveting it almost. And he smiles towards the four of you and says, "Very well. You seek the last two pieces, the reason and the spirit. The reason, as I said, exists in the garden. In the center of the garden is where you'll find it, the final piece, but I can't say that I've ever heard of anyone making it to the center. It's a bit confusing in there. You'll need a rose to enter, but I do not suggest plucking one." He laughs. "The spirit lies in the pumpkin patch. There are two ways to defeat a spirit. Either you can attempt to confront it, but I warn you that the spirit is a very difficult thing to combat through will alone. Or, if you feel like being a bit more brutal, you can end it. All you need is a single tear from a willow. That will give you reason and spirit, and then you can end your hunt. Good luck."
Wait,
What?
you told us you'd do something to help us about finding them.
I
something
told
that
you
we-
I'd tell you what you needed to know. And that is what you need to know.
For the reason you didn't give us anything. We already had a rose. We had one like yesterday.
You plucked a rose?
No, we made a rose.
Right. That's not the same. You need a rose from that garden.
So
How
how
do
do
we
we
get
get
one
one?
without plucking it?
And he sort of looks back at the three of you, the four of you. There's a man who works around here. The rag man, they call him. He has something that might be of use to collecting a rose. In fact, if you want a tear from a willow, he'll have something that will help you there as well. Now be gone with you. And he turns, holding the blue jar, and heads to his home.
Okay. Well, who's the rag man?
I met him when I was teleported here after we went through that fireplace in the restaurant after Georgie. I ended up in a cornfield young again, and there was a man. He said he was the rag man, and he had a lot of things that we could use, and that I had to give him something in return to get my backpack. So I sang a song for him.
Oh.
And he gave me my backpack, but he said if I ever needed him again, if I needed something, an item, something from him, that he only needed a tear and that he would be back.
And I punch her in the arm really hard.
Ow! Maddie!
All
Jesus!
right. And
Are you crying?
No!
Hit her again.
He punches you back.
Ow!
so you begin punching each other,
Yeah.
Hurts, don't it?
Nah.
and neither of you are crying because of it.
This isn't helping. All right.
I reach down and pluck an onion, which happens to be there.
Well, with your imagination, I can say you imagined one.
I imagine an onion.
-1 imagination point, please.
Worth it.
So you pick up an onion.
And
Wait,
I...
shouldn't we have some sort of plan first? Like, what are we going to offer this rag man?
No time. I bite into it and I shove it. Smell into Marie's nose.
And the burning of the onion sort of comes up your nose and in your eyes, and you immediately begin crying. And
Me?
Oh, you do it to Marie?
Yeah, I did to Marie.
Oh, it's anyone who cries, but okay.
So mean.
I'm immune.
You shove an onion
cry
in
from
Marie's
onions?
face.
I have special enzyme.
You just squeeze it, and
You do if they beat you in the eye?
a single tear falls out. And as you turn around,
So mean.
you notice that the 3 houses of the butchers are gone, and from the far side of the woods, you see movement, and a man sort of bounces back and forth, walking towards you. I knew you'd want something soon enough, he says as he continues towards the 4 of you, and he stops maybe 10 feet before Marie. Hello again, and
Hi.
hello to your friends.
I don't know about friends.
I see that you wanted me. Is there something else you'd like to trade? And on his back he holds a big sack, and he flips it down again and opens up, presenting you the same things that he had in the first place, which were a flashlight, a mirror, a key, rose cutters, a harp, a plastic comb, and a broken toothbrush.
Well,
he stands there.
Mr. Ragman, we need those rose cutters for sure.
Well, these rose cutters are quite special to me. They hold sentimental value. I'm afraid I'd need to have a pretty good offer for them.
We also need something to get a tear from a willow.
A tear from a willow. Now, how would you go about doing that?
You're supposed to tell me.
Am I now? He says with a smile.
Yeah, the
Rose.
butcher told me.
What are those items you have again, Ragman?
Toothbrush?
Flashlight, a mirror, a key, rose cutters, harp, plastic comb, and a broken toothbrush.
Probably the harp, right?
I imagine.
Seems like it. I don't know why.
Broken toothbrush, guys.
Toothbrush, because it was an old face. It probably needs its teeth brushed.
Or we could comb her hair.
I'm
Sometimes
afraid
that
I
makes
don't
sense.
know how to get a tear from a willow. Unless you want to trade, I'm not interested in chatting.
Oh, we'll trade you.
Yeah.
Well, a song's not going to cut it this time, dearie. These rose cutters are worth a bit more.
What do you want?
got? What do I want? Oh. And he looks through the 4 of you, and he stops at Georgie. I take a dream from him.
A dream?
Your best dream. The best dream you ever had.
What are you gonna do with it?
It's mine. I'll take it.
Hold on, Georgie. Hold on. Because you said that the rose cutters had sentimental value to you, great sentimental value. What if I gave you something that had great sentimental value to me in exchange? It'd be like exchanging really super duper sentimental values-ish things for each other's.
Like what?
And I reach into my pocket and I pull out the marble that I got from Tam, and I say, this is probably one of the most important things to me in my whole life.
And he eyes it. Give me a seek roll.
It was a 2, and I have a 3.
His eyes light up at the marble, and you can almost see his fingers twitch. And something about his demeanor changes. Oh, well, I suppose a regular old marble isn't worth
It's
much.
not.
But if you want to trade, I'll go. Fair enough, I'll trade you for it. And he holds out his long hand, expectant.
I don't know if that's a good idea, Maddie.
Maddie, that's not just any marble.
And I pause for a moment because I am thinking about how important it is to me. not because I slowly kind of hand it to him, and then for a moment I think of that old kung fu series and see if I can pluck it out from his hand, but I won't do it.
So you give him the marble?
Yeah.
And the minute the marble touches his hands, he closes it quickly. Thank you. And you can see his face. He's elated. And he walks away.
Didn't
Having
give us
left
the rose cutters?
us the rose
He left
cutters and the harp.
He left everything.
Oh.
Even the broken toothbrush?
All of it. And he begins walking back towards the woods. And you can hear him sort of singing.
Maddie, I don't know if that was a good idea. You said yourself these marbles are really important.
They're important to me because they're from like my best friend Tam.
But you said they're magic.
I don't think mine was. It's Tam that makes them magical. This one wasn't magical.
Yeah, it was. Matt.
Well, I've still got my marble, and Tam, you've still got yours.
And you gave me one too, Tam.
That's right.
And I hugged Maddie. Everyone said that. I hugged Maddie and I said,
Everyone else will be fine.
Sorry you're going to be
I've lost my
Grimland
marbles.
forever, Maddie.
bye,
Yeah.
Maddie.
So you look down at the...
Worth it.
Yeah. And you have, like I said, now a flashlight, a mirror, a key, rose cutters, harp, plastic comb, and broken toothbrush.
Okay, well, let's get the rose first. That seems to be the easiest. We have the cutters.
Okay. We do have to go by the willow first.
Okay.
You can always just stab it with a broken toothbrush and make it cry. That's kind of my go-to. So you scoop... I'm just going to start expediting. You scoop
Yeah,
up...
wait, hold on. We have a flashlight, mirror, key, rose cutters, harp, a broken toothbrush. Did I miss anything?
I will paste it. No, that's it.
Great.
The backpack's still on there, but that backpack was what you took from...
Plastic
the original.
comb.
Yeah, sorry, plastic comb. Backpack you already had. That was one
Yep.
of the first things you took from him. Just to let you know,
Flash.
it's the same items. He's that's all he's got.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so you scoop down and you take all the items, Maddie. And now your backpack's empty because you had the souls in it, and you fill up your backpack. And the four of you begin heading out the same way you
Satchel, my adventuring
Sorry, your
satchel.
purse, and you begin heading out the same way that you did the previous time. And as you head a little bit south on the road, you see the willow tree again moving without any breeze, the leaves sort of flickering lightly. And you stop on the bridge and you turn towards it, the four of you sharing a knowing look.
Does anybody know how to play the harp?
No.
Is it a lyre or a harp?
A liar? Well, I don't know. You could ask it. It could be telling the truth. Hey!
I imagine it's a lyre, so
It's a harp.
A mouth harp?
So we're like,
No, it's a little harp. It's a hand harp.
like a mouth harp.
That's what I said.
Oh, just sorry.
It's a little harp. A lyre, if that's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like hand harp's a thing, isn't it?
How else would you play a harp?
No, like
piano
but
or a dulcimer.
like a tiny one. I'm gonna Google.
Oh,
This,
It's
this
called
is
a
gonna
lyre.
hurt, guys.
I know there is the lyre, but I'm thinking.
I just Googled it.
I think there might be another one. All right. So what are you doing?
I'll just pluck to see what happens. So I strum the lyre, the hand harp.
Yeah, it's in Grimlands. It's a hand harp, and you run it, and it's beautiful.
You run it.
You run your fingers across it,
Just do that.
and yeah, and it's beautiful, and the music echoes in the night with a crunch, and you hear it in the sort of river area. And as you do, the willow stops moving.
Like it stops swaying.
Yeah.
And I keep playing. Just trying to pluck out a melody if I can.
And You do, don't you?
I do.
So, what do you pluck out?
I pluck out the melody of "Oh Danny Boy."
Oh, that's a
Because
good
it's a
one.
pentatonic, and I imagine that's how the lyre is tuned.
Duh. And you do pluck out a very brutal version of that, but it's enough. And you can see from up above, the willow is crying.
Quick! And I jump across with... I jump across without anything, and I go up to the tree, and I take my glasses off, and I stick them underneath where the tear's coming down, and try to catch it on the lens.
Nice. And you do. You catch 2 big wet drops on the lens of your glasses.
Awesome.
And you can see up close the tree is just, its face is unmoving, but the water is leaking from the corners of its eyes. And you have 2 tears of a willow.
Willow. I
don't know why you thought the harp would do it, but good for you.
I hesitate in front of the tree, thinking of something to say, but I don't say anything, and I go and hop back across the blood river and come back to the friends.
Perfect.
Here we go.
And you can see in the lenses of your glasses that the tears are not water. They look to be jade and gold, 2 different colors.
Cool.
Yeah, one's gold and one's jade.
Do you guys have like a jar I could put this in? I kind of need my glasses.
Are they actual metal and stone, or are they just liquid? Those
No,
colors?
they look like they're actual pieces now.
Oh, they've hardened.
I know.
Marie pulls out a piece of bubble gum and unwraps it and sticks the gum in her mouth and uses the wrapper to like wrap up the 2 stones and like ties it and puts it in her pocket.
Perfect. And the minute you sort of take them, you start feeling very, very sleepy.
And we're never gonna see those stones again.
But only you. Something seems off. Something like is like draining you by holding on to these.
You all right there, Marie?
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just this whole thing. I don't know when the last time it is that I slept.
Want a piggyback?
Oh, I'm good. Let's just keep going.
Oh, okay. 'Cause Georgie could piggyback you.
No, I couldn't. No offense.
Uh-oh.
I don't think I could lift.
Oh.
Look at me.
The 4 of you continue moving south on the road, with Marie trailing behind, sort of yawning every once in a while. And to the point, Marie, where you feel like you could probably just sit on the road and sort of stop.
And she does. I'll be right there.
No, we
keep
can't go
going.
without you.
I'll just be a second.
Marie, I think it's the jade and the gold. Do you want me to carry it for you?
Don't be silly. It's just some willow stuff.
Well, let me carry it for you. You
Okay.
can have it back.
Hold on. Here.
And the minute it transfers hands, you do feel like your old self. In fact, none of you felt particularly tired. For whatever reason, in this land which feels timeless, you haven't been growing tired. And the return to your normal self feels bizarre, Marie, that you were tired. But of course, Tam, now you do start feeling drained as well.
Wow. There's something wrong with those tears for sure.
So should we keep them separated?
You can try that.
Keep them separated.
I was going to say, hey.
Come
Well,
on,
I give the gold
play.
one to George. I said, here, hang on to this one.
I grab
I'll hang on
onto
to
the
the
jade.
jade.
Wait, you kept the jade?
I kept the jade and gave you the gold.
Okay. I'll hang on to it. I'll put it in my pocket. Nod and say, okay, but if it doesn't work, maybe we should go to the pumpkin patch first. Take care of the spirit. Guys, game?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
Does it seem to do anything when we separate the tears?
You just each feel a little less tired, but you still feel tired. Something draining about these items. And you remember them falling on your glasses as liquid. So obviously something about them is magical, Georgie. Because they'd kill a spirit, or a ghost, rather. So you begin moving south towards the pumpkin patch, am I right?
Yeah.
And you're taking the route past the rose garden?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. You enter to the area of the pumpkin patch, and the fields are gray as anything, and they're cut short. Not like the field you woke up in, Marie, but different, as if they've been cut a long, long time ago. On either side, the pumpkins sit most rotten. And in the largest field to the south, you see a single, lone figure standing. It's a scarecrow, with a large pumpkin head, sitting against the star-filled sky, more stars than you could possibly count. It sits ominous, and as you approach the edge of the field, it seems to be facing you. Nothing else in the field seems to stick out to you.
Do you think that's where the spirit is?
They said it was in the center of the pumpkin patch, right? Or was it the center of the garden?
Mm,
I thought they said the center of the garden.
They did, you're right. Well, that's the only thing here, so we might as well go to it.
yeah, we have to end it.
So you all begin walking towards it. Marie, you don't necessarily blink, but for a moment your eyes search the horizon. You look towards the trees that are far off to the left of the edge of the field. You maybe look towards the dirt road that runs south from here to an endless hill that you can't quite see. And as your eyes snap back to the figure, it is no longer a scarecrow, but your sister Sarah.
Sarah?
She sits with her arms stretched out, tied to a wooden cross, and she looks at you. Marie?
Sarah?
Help me! Please! Please!
She starts running.
And as you get to the feet of your sister...
And I chase after her as well.
You do, but...
It's like I feel like this is wrong. But...
Yeah. And you run after her, and she runs towards her, and your hands wrap around Sarah's feet, and she looks down at you, tears in her eyes, her face is covered with dirt, her dress hangs loose on her, and
Oh my
her
God, Sarah!
legs are thin, and she looks down and she says, please, Marie, help me down, please.
And she's immediately untying her.
And I'm trying to... No, Marie, don't!
legs.
Don't! It's
Stop
not real.
Now, from your perspective, Maddie and Tam and Georgie, she's untying the scarecrow.
Marie, stop!
And Marie's gonna be violent to anyone who's gonna try and stop her.
And so you untie successfully. I mean, obviously Matt isn't going to, or unless you're gonna try to grapple her or something, Maddie.
Yeah, I totally am. And I'm going to use, again, the social chameleon with the jock using the winning play by calling on some hidden reserve and push myself past normal limits.
Okay.
But it's still going to be a scamper thrower muscle test. So I'd probably use like a muscle to try to just wrestle her down.
Okay. And I guess Marie would use her defense, and probably because you're bigger than him.
Right.
So
I think it'd be muscle versus muscle, wouldn't it? If we're just like.
I would choose scamper.
Yeah, if you're sort
that's
of
true,
like
to try to get away.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So let's see what grade you succeed at.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a 4 with a grade 3.
So he succeeds at a grade 3, and then you'll succeed at your scamper.
Amazing.
Nice.
I succeeded a grade 5 scamper.
Perfect. So she wins. So describe
And
how
she
that
kicks
happens.
me.
I throw Maddie away from me. Get off of me, Maddie!
Don't be
Knock it
stupid,
off.
Marie!
Don't you see? And she's like
I'm
climbing up
crying.
to untie Sarah's arm.
You're just like JR! You're so stupid!
And you do. You release Sarah's arm as it breaks away from the wood, and you untie her other arm as it breaks away as well. And she climbs down, and she wraps her arms around you, and you can feel the frailty of her bones through her skin. And she feels so lost, and she begins crying into your shoulder.
Yeah, Marie's crying too. Oh my God, Sarah, are you okay?
I'm fine.
We're gonna get you out of here.
I'm so fine. I kept waiting and praying for you, and I kept hoping that you'd find me.
Are
I
you
knew
okay?
you'd find me.
Tam, Georgie, help!
And
I take out
Try to do a scarecrow.
the jade, and I walk over, and I'm like, what do we do with this? And I put it towards the scarecrow.
And as you do, Sarah steps back from you, Marie. And,
do we see the scarecrow step back?
No, from your perspective, now that you've approached it and you actually see it interacting, it's a different person. In fact, it's a different person to each of you. So, Georgie, as you see Tam approach with the stones out in his hand and out in her hands, you see your father let go of Marie and take a step back, scared, sort of lurching away from Tam's open hand. Maddie, you see Luke let go of Marie and step back, again scared, from Tam's hand. And Tam, you see yourself let go of Marie and take a step back. All the same expression. You all see a different person, but each of them sort of reels back from the two items that presented to them. No, please, don't.
Tam, what are you doing?
I gotta give these to you. And I walk forward with the gems.
Back off.
It's not who you think it is, Marie.
What are you talking about?
And Georgie, you see your father sort of leaning away from Tam.
I'm going to do a... Oh, what would this be? What kind of roll would this be? I want to see if I can see through the...
Illusion?
Illusion. And I've got Skeptic as a grade 6 ability, which gives me
Illusion,
+2 on tests of temptation, despair, and effects that would affect my emotions.
Hey, that's good.
It's aliens.
I'm gonna aid him with the mirror by looking at the reflection in the mirror.
So I look
Okay.
at my father, and I look at Maddie, who seems to be pulling out a mirror. And what do you want me to roll? Pluck, imagination.
Let's do pluck. Maddie, I'll tell you right now, you look through the mirror and it's nothing. It's still for you. It's still.
Oh, so okay, even in the mirror, eh? All right.
Correct.
Well, thanks
Well-
anyway, Mike Kyle. Good try.
Well, you've tried this before
Okay.
on Luke, who is as you see him, as you've always seen him.
So I succeed my pluck at a grade 8 level.
Perfect. So yeah, you can see through Georgie, through your father. Arthur is your father's, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. However, you also gain a bit of insight. This spirit that you see before you is obviously afraid of the stones that Tam holds out in her hands. But this spirit is also the spirit of Luke that guided you in the graveyard, that helped Maddie. And as much as this spirit seems scary and is obviously tricking you in some way or another, you think that these tears would kill it. But you're not convinced that it needs necessarily to be killed. It seems, based on the interaction that you had with it in the graveyard, maybe part of it's even confused, maybe part of it wants to do good, or maybe part of it can be reasoned with.
Okay. So I hold up the gold, and I take a step closer, and with fire in my eyes, I say, Stop the facades. Drop it. Okay? And then we can talk.
And your father
Drop it for
turns
all
to
of
you
us.
and says, Georgia, I don't know what you're talking about.
This is bullshit, and you know it. You're not my father.
Georgia, of course.
Of course
I'm
it's not
your
her father.
Drop the act, and we can talk.
Georgia.
And I hold the gold a little bit closer to him.
And it reels back, but you get the sense that it's not lying. The same way that Luke in the graveyard was confused at the questions you asked it. You don't get the impression that this creature is necessarily trying to hurt you with its lies, but more so maybe an amalgamation of the spirits that do inhabit this place.
Okay. But I'm still leery. I'm still not sure if I can trust it. So I hold the gold up. And I say, Marie, this isn't what it looks like. To me, it's my father. Maddie, who is it to you?
It's Luke. I don't know why Marie's hugging Luke.
Tam?
I see myself.
Well, you guys are holding those weird tear things, and I'm not. I'm the only one who's seeing Sarah for who she really is.
No, Marie. It's just who you want to see. But we're not going to hurt it. Right, Tam?
I'm reaching into Marie's backpack for the lighter.
Okay.
No, get away from me.
I'm going to try to grab the lighter as quickly as I can.
Sure. I'm gonna say she's pretty distracted.
Yep. So
We're not going to hurt you, but we need your help.
what do you mean we're not going to hurt? It's not real, Georgie.
It is
It's-
real. It was a scarecrow a minute ago. But
I
now
know.
I don't think that it can drop its illusion.
It's trying to hurt us.
How? What has it done so far?
Luke hasn't hurt us so far.
It's not Luke. It's a
To
creature.
me, it
trying-
is.
Let's judge it on its actions. It hasn't done anything yet, and it looks really scared of our gemstones.
And it does. It
Let's
sort of
give it a
continues
chance.
looking between the two stones and looking between each of you.
But just to be safe, Tam, go on the other side. Flank it.
All right, Georgie. I just really. It's for you guys. It's being someone else. This. I'm walking to the other side with I'm flanking it.
And so as Sarah, it comes towards you, Marie. And she has tears in her eyes. She says, Marie, I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand where I am. I don't understand what took you so long to find me.
Sarah, we're in a really scary place.
But you left me.
What?
You left me that night. Something came for me at night. Something came for me in my bedroom, and I called out your name, and you didn't answer.
No. No, honey. Sarah, you left the house.
You promised that you'd always protect me, that you'd always take care of me, that you'd always make sure I was safe.
I tried. I tried my best. How did you get here?
I don't know. I remember being taken out of my bed, and I remember being hurt, and I remember calling your name and calling your name, and I remember over and over and over. And I remember waking up on the beach, and I remember here. You promised that I'd never get hurt, and I got hurt.
And Marie's just standing there, like tears running down her face,
And
like
I'll
crazy.
walk up behind her and put my hand kind of like on her shoulder and just be like, Marie, don't. It's just trying to make you feel guilty.
And he
How
turns,
does
and he
how does
turns
it
to
know?
you, and he says, Maddie, and it's Luke, obviously, and he says,
Yeah.
Maddie, you said that we were always going to be together, that we were always going to be a team. You promised.
I did, and I'm sorry I couldn't keep it. I really tried. I really did, but something happened that was beyond my ability to keep that promise.
You left.
And I turned to Marie again and Georgie and Tam, and they're like, do you hear it? Do you hear how it's speaking to Marie and then to me? It's each trying to get under our skin and hit us in the feels where it's really going to hurt us, so that we'll feel sad and we'll feel guilty, and then we'll turn just like all these other people here.
Who are you?
I'm your sister, says Sarah. And Georgie, you're seeing your dad, and he sort of turns towards you and he says, You were supposed to take care of your old man. You never did.
It's not going to work on me.
I tried the best I could.
You did, and you raised me as a skeptic, which is not why I'm not believing your bullshit.
I took the odd jobs at your school, and I know you were embarrassed by me, and I'm sorry for that. And I know that what happened to your friend's sister and that I was brought in. I know that hurt as well, and I'm sorry for that as well. But I didn't deserve to be transferred to that hellhole. I didn't deserve to live out my last days in a tiny room with nothing. Did I?
No, Dad. No, you didn't. I'm sorry. If I could have done things differently.
He takes a step towards you, and he says, "You're sorry?"
Yeah. I mean, I learned pretty young that there are times in life where the choices, no matter what your options are, there's not going to be a good outcome. And I was between a rock and a hard place there, and I picked the old folks home, and I thought that would be best, and I was wrong. I'm sorry, Dad.
And he walks towards you, and he puts his arms around you like you remember when you were young, your dad's strong arms around you, and he even smells like him. And he kisses your forehead just as he did when you were young. And he says, "That's okay, Georgie. I forgive you." And he steps away. And when he turns his back to you, you see the straw of the figure. And as it turns towards the other three, you can hear a voice, but it's no longer your dad's. Something about it feels like it's parted. And it turns back towards you, Maddie, as Luke, and says, "But you promised you'd never leave, and you left. You never called. You never wrote. You never remembered. You forgot about me."
Shut up, Luke! I didn't forget about you. And I just start to break down and cry. I didn't forget. I couldn't keep it. I tried so hard.
I tried. I wrote everywhere I could. I wrote your parents. I tried to find you. I called you every week after week. I tried, and you just left. You left me, like everyone left me.
And I'll pull the jacket over my face, and just like, because then I also remember what he was saying about if you can't see it, it can't hurt you.
Right.
And I'm just like, "You're not real. You're not real."
And he turns to you, Marie, and it's Sarah again, and she says, "You always promised you'd protect me. You always said that you would be there for me, and you weren't."
Sarah, it's my fault. All of it. I was supposed to go out and salt the laneway because it was cold. I left the door open because I thought Mom and Dad should have done it because I was tired and I had a test the next day and it was late. And I thought they were always complaining about their electrical bill and screaming and yelling at each other about how much money it cost. And I don't know, I just wanted to cause some shit, I guess. Left the door open and then the next morning you were gone. I'm so sorry.
And Sarah looks at you, tears welling in her eyes. Again, the face that you saw a year ago at this age. And you know with all your heart that this is your sister in one way or another. And she takes a step towards you, and she hugs you, and she whispers in your ear, "It's okay." And as she steps away and turns to Maddie and Tam, you see the straw back of the figure that you were running to originally. And you feel like your sister has parted it. And a hand is placed on your back, Maddie, and you hear Luke's voice kneeling down next to you. "But you said you wouldn't leave, and you did."
I told you, I tried to keep the promise. I couldn't, Luke, and I'm sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry. I couldn't.
And Luke stands up, and waits for you to stand up next to him.
I try, but I've got I actually have to put my hand down on the ground first because my knees are so shaky and my stomach's all balled up like I'm gonna throw up. And so I stop for a second with both hands on my knees, kind of look at him, almost like fighting back the vomit. And then I stand up.
And as you stand up and you see your friend and you look him in the eye, you know with every fiber of your being that this is Luke in one way or another. And he looks you dead in the eye. I know what you did that night. I know what Tam did, and I know why you had to leave. I forgive you, Maddie. And he sticks his hand out to shake.
And I give him a hug.
And you hug him. And as you lean back from your hug, you realize that it is the figure that you were running towards, the stick figure with the pumpkin head. And again, you feel that Luke's soul has left. And the three of you sort of share a knowing look, understanding what has happened. And as the figure turns towards Tam, you see yourself staring back.
What do you want?
I don't know.
You're not me.
I think you're not me. And she sort of walks over to one of the pumpkins and bends down and picks it up. It's a smaller one, and she sort of holds it and turns around and sort of juggles it back and forth in her hands.
I walk over to her and I push the pumpkin out of her hand.
Hey, that's okay. Didn't want to live anyway.
What? You know what you did. You know why you don't deserve to be treated with compassion. And I push her.
If you need to push me, that's fine. But you're only pushing yourself. And she pushes you back.
And I pick up the pumpkin that's on the ground. And I reach, because it broke as it fell. I grab some of the gunk and slime and throw it in her face.
And it slaps against her face. And she takes it and just rubs it in a little bit. You know, pumpkin guts are really great for your skin, Mom says.
Is that right? Is that what Mom says?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what you did to Mom? I remember how happy she was when we found out?
I know what we did to Mom. I don't think that's why I'm seeing you right now.
So why are you here?
I think we made a choice together.
Our choice to leave. That choice? I did leave. I left.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember why, though?
Yeah, it was to save Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And we did. We did exactly as we said we would. And we only came back when we found out it was too late.
But did we save Luke?
What do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
We made a deal. He promised.
Yeah, we left. But, I don't know. I don't think Luke got saved. Do you think Luke got saved?
You mean he tricked us? He tricked me.
No, I don't think he tricked us. I think he did what he said he was going to do, and I think Luke lived his life. But I don't know what kind of life it was.
Luke was filled with hope and joy, and he understood me. Of course I was going to save him. I didn't know what was going to happen when we left. I didn't know that things like that would change someone. I I want him to keep on living.
No, I know. I don't think it was the wrong choice at the time. But I think if we know what we know now, I think we know that maybe, I don't know, maybe it was our fault.
That he turned out the way he did.
Yeah.
Luke made choices. If he gave up on hope, that's on Luke. I would never give up. I didn't give up. I was still Tam, even after I left. Even after I left everyone I cared about. That's on Luke.
Maybe. But then why are you seeing me?
Guys, this is stupid. What am I supposed to do with her? She's blaming me for how Luke turned out.
And Georgie has taken a.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault that Luke turned out the way he did. He was happy when we left. He was full of joy and.
Sorry, Tam. You've got to figure it out.
And Tam
this is
looks
Luke's
back
fault.
at you.
This is not.
Huh?
So you're saying if you went back, you wouldn't have done that? You would have stayed and let Luke die that day?
I don't know.
I can't accept that, and I go light her on fire.
Okay. You light her on fire or you use the stones?
Both.
Fire's not going to do anything.
He uses the stones to create the spark.
Yeah, okay, so then I use the stones.
Perfect. So you grab the stones and you hold them out towards the creature. And in a moment, it bursts into a bright blue flame and it screams. And its entire existence, which now appears to you in the form of many different souls, faces you don't recognize, faces that you do recognize, but from a different life. They continue and flash before your eyes, and the scream echoes into the night. And slowly it fades and grows to a small pile, and all that is left is a small brass doorknob.
And as I turn and to walk out of the pumpkin patch, and I kick a pumpkin, like a soggy, moldy pumpkin, and I walk out.
And guts go flying.
Yeah, satisfying.
And the three of you saw this entirely as it appeared. And you see the small brass doorknob that was left behind.
And there's a very tense silence that fills the air as she stomps through the pumpkin patch. And gradually, Georgie pushes himself, shaking his head, and goes to Maddie and says, "Maybe we should have done something."
What do you mean?
I don't know. I don't know if that was good for her. And I turn and I reach down, grab the doorknob off the ground.
And as you touch the doorknob, everything freezes. You see Daniel, the young man that you saw looking out the window in your previous vision. You see him now, many years later, arriving in a small village in the woods. He looks to be maybe 30, 35. He's walking past folks in the small town. Each are eyeing him sort of suspiciously. He looks more hunched over, a bit older, a bit more worn. Something about his eyes, something about his smile is offsetting. A large man walks up to him. "Bannon, was it?" he says, and Daniel nods, without saying a word. "Young Harper said you'd been sulking around the church giving her flowers. You stay away from here, you hear?" he says as the townfolk begin stopping to look at him. "You hear me, Bannon?" The man sort of looks up. "You're not welcome in this town. Go off live in the woods and leave us good folk alone," the man says, as Daniel steps around him and begins moving past the village. "Go on, then!" the man shouts as Daniel Bannon begins slinking off back into the woods. He walks to the edge and stops, looking back as the large man turns and goes about his business. And Daniel's eyes meet those of Harper Langdon. She's young, maybe 7, and she smiles innocently. And he smiles back. And we're going to stop there for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Grimm Chapter 9. This Saturday is the final chapter in Grimm. We are going to end in spectacular fashion with all of the decisions these guys have made coming back in a very exciting way. I'm very excited to see how it's going to play out. But of course, the game is not over until we reward the end game experience points. You guys have been pretty active. Who do you think earned tonight's end game XP?
Good question. Who indeed?
Lorene had some good ideas.
Mike Kyle had some good ideas as well.
Mike Kyle did. And he also donated those delicious little PDFs for us.
Did we get any donations?
Oh, I don't know. Let me check.
Let's see.
Let us see. No,
we did not.
You know what? Mike, we're going to hold on to them. We can use them as a reward for the 4th. Instead, get some people to donate then, because that's what we want. Donations. No sense in rewarding to nobody. Who do you think, Justin?
I think Mike Kyle. Because
Mike Kyle?
Yeah, because the conversation between Tam and Tam, it was a little obscure, but he pointed out in the Discord chat that it's Tam talking about her brother that was never born, and
she was at first, yeah.
At first, yeah.
And I thought that was a key detail that nobody else seemed to mention. So I want to give it to Mike.
All right, let's do it. Mike Kyle, you win the end game experience point. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Grimm Chapter 9. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this crazy Wednesday night. This Friday. Saturday.
Well, Friday.
Yeah, Friday at midnight. This Saturday, starting at midnight, is going to be the start of the 24-hour live stream. I'm going to be releasing the schedule for you guys tomorrow to see where you want to hang out. Maybe, I heard some of you are going to do the whole thing with me, so we'll see how that works out. I'm excited either way. It's going to be fucking crazy and fun and challenging, which I'm actually quite excited about. I'm kind of excited for, the challenge of feeling super, super tired of sitting in a chair after a while. But it's meant to be difficult.
How much coffee are you going to do?
How much what?
Coffee.
No, well, you know what? Let's keep a count. I'm totally. Let's do it per cup.
Have a coffee counter.
Coffee counter in the corner. Boom, boom, boom.
Coffee counter. Someone also mentioned that we should have a kind of a gong, right after we had that Michael's laundry alarm went off.
It's okay to do laundry now alarm.
Yeah, someone said that we should have an hourly. It's countdown for the 24 hours. Yeah.
1 hour down.
Do we get an extra hour this weekend? Does that change something?
Does that make it a 25-hour stream?
That's on a Sunday, yeah.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, it's on Sunday.
If it's
on
Sunday at 2 a.m. or something, then...
Does that mean I get more time to sleep in then?
Yes, you do.
Correct.
Sweet. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to be there for the 24-hour live stream. Again, we're going to be raising money for Extra Life, so please share the link. I'll make a post tomorrow if you want to share that officially. That can kind of represent a little bit more, or share the link right now. It would be so helpful to us. But hang out with me. It's gonna be fun. We're playing classic Doom. We're playing Inside. We're playing Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Playing some Stardew Valley. Playing some co-op games, as well as ending the game. Oh, as well as Grimm Part 10 and some live D&D. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. So you're not gonna want to miss it, because it's going to be the one to remember. Lots of swear words, lots of secret stories. You're going to hear all about my sordid past, all my most embarrassing stories, and the one that I haven't told yet. There's none. They're all told. No, there's plenty. Believe me, I promise you. Not everyone knows about the 2 times I was arrested, so those are fun. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Hope you have a fantastic Wednesday, which is pretty much over. Hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I hope you join us Saturday for the 24-hour live stream. And as my boy Chris always likes to say,
on Saturday, we'll see you around the table.
See you around the table, guys. Good night.